We'll start at the beginning then. Where was you born and raised?
New Jersey, Hoboken, New Jersey.
Okay.
1971, dude.
And what went on there? How long did you stay there?
I actually lived in Jersey till I was just 18, I think, and I went to California. So,
all right.
Yeah, and you had mentioned something about that ramp that we had and stuff. I think you referred to it to the shut ramp.
Yeah, I think I read that somewhere though. So wait a minute before we get to the ramp.
Yeah.
What was you into as a kid? Like, did you get into skateboarding and stuff, or was it bikes, or what did you get into as a youngster?
I was a motherfucking ninja.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, BMX though came in at like 79.
Okay.
Yeah, 70. My neighborhood was a lot. I grew up in a Spanish, predominantly Latin community in like a projects in North Bergen, New Jersey, and a lot of kids had good bikes. Man, they just were into bikes there. They weren't into tricks and stuff, but they were into bikes. And there was a racetrack called Braddock Park Racetrack, and in Braddock Park, and guys like even Keith Mulligan and Brooks Manbeck, who I just mentioned.
Okay.
Some of the guys from the old base Brooklyn scene used to ride that track even when I went there, but none of us knew each other yet.
All right.
Now that was more like mid 80s type stuff. But in 79, I remember the very first bike I ever fucking saw. It was a maroon quad angle.
Oh, no
79
way.
or 80. Yeah. And then as soon as I saw it, it was sitting outside a bodega, and this Spanish kid had it. It had gold rims, had all kinds of gold parts. And I was like, I want that pad.
Yeah.
And then I think my first real bike was 82-ish, maybe. It was a PK Ripper.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, I have a photo.
Good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a weird family thing, but my dad found one and got me a pretty dialed PK Ripper. It had JMC bars, it had landing gear forks.
Okay.
I have a photo of it somewhere. I'll try and dig that up for you.
Oh, awesome. Did you have like a bike before a BMX, or was a BMX your first bike?
I don't remember much. I remember getting a training wheel bike in one of the projects we lived in, and basically my dad wasn't really around and shit, and he gave it to me and said, figure it out.
All right.
And like I kept getting fucked up trying to learn how to ride a bike by myself, but I did, obviously.
Yeah. And what attracted you to like that quad angle? Like what made it like so appealing?
Man, it just looked amazing. I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
I remember I was standing on top of the stairs. The bodega had like an arcade in it. Kids were playing the video game, so that's what the kid was doing. He was in playing a game, and he had his bike leaned against the window. It had Haro plate on it. I think it was a Haro plate. But it was definitely maroon, had gold parts. And back when people used to put all the padding on their handlebars.
Yeah, yeah.
All the way around.
Yeah, yeah.
I did the same thing to the PK Ripper. And I just remember it so vividly and shit. And I was like, that's what I want. The quad angle just looked crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I got obsessed with SE, with SE racing because of that bike. And then that's why I think I pushed my dad so hard to find at least something similar, which was the PK Ripper.
Okay.
Yeah. Before that...
Sorry, go
ahead. Yeah, before that, I don't really remember what BMX bikes I had.
Okay. Did you had you seen magazines, or had you seen it on TV at this point, or?
Most of it was racing, and then again, everybody raced that did ride a little bit in that town. And what year was that Freestyle magazine? I just did something with that.
The first issue of Freestyle was 84. I
remember the day I saw that issue. So
okay.
That's where Freestyle would have took off for me.
All right. So did you race or no?
I'd go to the track, but I sucked.
Okay.
And then I even before Freestyle and magazine, seeing Freestyle, I used to jump out of the berm and over a fence while racing. I just didn't like racing. And so I found way back then, I would jump out of the track over the fence into the parking lot.
No way. But and what was the BMX crew, early BMX crew, the racetrack crew? Is that the first ones you met?
Yeah, well, I didn't meet the New York guys, but they were. We've all talked since and stuff, and then, like, it turns out there's certain days, like I think it was Mulligan remembers some crazy white kid that used to jump his bike over the fence.
Oh, no way, yeah.
And but for myself, I kind of was a loner for quite a while until we ended up with that ramp years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that the first ramp you'd ridden?
Yeah. I mean, my first real heroes were Flatlanders.
All right.
That's what I thought I wanted to be, you know, like Woody Itzen and Mike Buff were. I always liked their bikes, though. It was always about the bike.
Yeah, they both had nice bikes, didn't they? I wasn't. Yeah, that was quite early. Over here, we didn't see them that often. Was that the first mag you got? Was freestyling, or did you see a mag before that?
I had bicycle motocross action from '79. Yeah.
Oh wow.
My mom I had them at my mom's house, but she must have got, whatever, threw them away or something. But I remember seeing mags from '79.
Oh, we're crazy.
Yeah. But the real one was freestyling, for sure.
That's the one that had the big impact, yeah?
Yeah. Because like I said... Oh,
sorry.
Mike Buff and RL, I knew who they were. I knew who Pat Romano was. And so they were definitely heroes already, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was that freestyling magazine. I remember seeing that in the store, and that was on Burgerline Avenue. And it was actually the same street that I used to pedal up to go to the track. And it was a newsstand, and I'd go there every time I rode past it, look at the new magazines and shit. And that freestyle was sitting on the fucking shelf. I don't even know if I had enough money for it. I don't even remember. I think I might have went home to go get money.
Yeah.
But I just stared at it. I didn't even open it yet. I was like, this is awesome. What is this?
No way. Yeah, because that had a totally different look and feel to all like the previous BMX mags. When you look at it now, especially, you can tell something's changed. Yeah.
Yeah, it had like an artsy vibe and a street vibe, you know. And I'm from New Jersey. I mean, where I grew up, I lived directly across from the Empire State Building, so I definitely lived in an urban setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it had attitude, that cover as well, didn't it? Like the expression and the sort of the position he was in and stuff. It all had like a lot to it, yeah.
Yeah, I think I knew who Curb Dogs were already by that point.
Oh, no way. Yeah, they got a lot of coverage that year. So they're probably in BMX action maybe. So yeah, they were blowing up. Same over here. Curb Dogs was like a big deal over here in the summer of '84. Yeah. Yeah. And what else was going on at that time? Like, are you like, did you find any other riders to ride with, or are you just like still on your PK Ripper, just cruising about like at the track and then jumping curbs, or what was it? What else was going on? Were you trying to do flatland or anything?
Yeah, I did. I definitely was trying to find. And by the time '82 rolled around, I think I'd been through quite a few bikes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had Pro Performers. I had, I think, a couple PK Rippers. I had some Haros and stuff. So a lot of the kids where I'm from, again, a lot of Spanish kids, they all just collected bikes and were into bikes or stole bikes. And we'd all trade off all the time. Like, we would trade frames. Like, yo, I want to try that one. Let me get that one. Like, I know there's photos somewhere. My sister may have them, but I remember an all white Pro Performer I had.
Amazing.
I don't even remember how I got it, but I know it's in the photo.
Yeah. Oh, was there a shop there? Where did people get this bike stuff? Oh, there was, yeah?
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was right across the street from the track.
Oh, okay.
It was called James Vincent's Bike. I think it's still in business.
No way.
You remember Jim Delaval?
Yeah.
Jim Delaval used to manage it in the early 2000s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that shop. Was
that shop? That was just a bike shop that had like BMX stuff, I take it.
Yeah. I mean, they pretty much followed the magazines for BMX of what was popular, and they stocked. Yeah. The very last bike I ever purchased was in, I think it was 1988. And that was a Haro Sport from that store. That's the last
cool,
bike I ever had to buy.
What sport was that? The orange one or something?
No, the turquoise and black.
Okay.
Team model.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think I was 17 when I got that, and that I actually had that bike when I moved to California.
Oh, no way. Is that on any video or anything of you on that bike?
Yeah. But it's not turquoise. I stripped it. It was just raw chrome silver, whatever the fuck color it was.
Oh, okay. What video is that?
Ultimate Weekends.
I was going to say Ultimate Weekend with the flyouts and stuff.
Yeah. It was cracked. I had duct tape holding the seat tube together.
No way, man. And then, so what? As that like rolls round, like you find the shut ramp is what? Why was? How comes I know it is the shut ramp? I was doing some research, and I'm sure that you referred it to the shut ramp or the shut guys or something.
That's fucking awesome that you know that, because the original guys that were a part of the original, I'm not a part of the original build. And the original guys were Felix Arguelles, Coco Santiago, a handful of other street skaters that all rode for Shut.
Okay.
So that might be why that's out there a little. But the main guys were Sanford and Rich Lopez, two black Cuban vert skaters.
All right.
And unfortunately, the ramp always was referred to them because they were dark-skinned. And in that era, they used to call it the NIGGA ramp.
Okay.
For those dudes in the ghetto shit. Yeah. So that's what it was always known. And then as the Shut guys, because Shut didn't exist yet, when Shut started, all those dudes started to skate in New York City and stuff and kind of became Shut. The rest of us stayed behind with the vert ramp. And eventually everybody recognized the vert ramp with those two dudes, the vert skaters, and the crazy white boy.
All right.
The crazy white boy.
How did you get in with those guys?
The ramp was right by our fucking grammar school.
Oh, okay. So,
like, the projects I grew up in, we had to take a little bridge to walk across over the highway, which is the highway that takes you into the Lincoln Tunnel. And then there's the elementary school. And if you go into the woods, was the fucking ramp.
Oh, no way.
The ramp was 13 foot tall. It had 2.5 feet of vert. It was huge. It was a legit skate vert ramp in the middle of these woods in urban New Jersey.
What year is this?
I think they started the build in 86 maybe, and I probably started riding. Yeah.
That's a big ramp.
It was huge. There's footage of Christian Asoy skating it. Valelli went to it a few times. And then by the time I was a consistent biker, there's a video too. It was called Team Fireball. I'll try to find that for you. I only thing of me is because it had a roll in. It had a legit roll in. I didn't know how to drop in, like roll in from the coping. So I'd use the roll in and go like 3 feet, pull as hard as I could, and land flat bottom.
Wow. That's a big ramp. You'd never ridden a quarter pipe, and that was the first like transition you'd ridden.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But eventually I learned how to do it, and I think it's not what I think. I know that's why I learned to ride vert so easily, was from that ramp.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my BMX history, not everybody knows I ride vert or did ride vert.
Yeah.
And man, I was going 12 on normal ramps because I was used to that ramp.
Okay. And what was the normal ramps you how long did you stay riding that ramp for? Before you get another one?
It got demolished on us, but and another name that it was known for, it was called the Shop Right ramp, which was a grocery store. It was behind the grocery store.
All right.
And when the grocery store renovated and they extended the property and they demolished our ramp, and it was kind of fucked up because me and the two guys that I referred to, they're twins, Sanford and Rich. One of the twins was hurt and he couldn't skate for like a year or something. So me and the other twin, Rich, we were valets at a restaurant where we valeted cars. So we saved our money and relayered the ramp, and then they eventually demolished it on us with the new layer on it.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
But even when that went away, we found another ramp to ride, which was in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and that was a big ramp too.
Wow. And how many people used to like congregate at that ramp. You was the only bike rider the whole time.
There would be kids, like the kids I talk about that were into bikes.
Yeah.
They would come. They didn't ride, you know. A couple of times the skaters actually rode better than me because they knew how to pump. Yeah.
Yeah, they knew how it worked.
Yeah, they knew how to use the coping and they knew how to pump. And like, because they all used to make fun of me if I pedaled. And like, I didn't quite understand it yet. And then eventually when I adopted the pumping and using the coping as opposed to, because skaters like their coping to stick out, like pretty heavy. And I had to get used to using the coping instead of pulling my bike away. So I learned how to do that. And it kind of, I remember the guy that did it, his name was Alex. He started doing 3-foot airs on my bike. And I was like, you fucking dick.
And how wide was that ramp if it had a channel in it?
Yeah, it was wide. 20,
pretty decent, yeah?
Maybe 32. About,
wow.
It was wide.
Yeah,
it was
real,
wide.
real ramp, yeah.
Yeah, and then in the end, the last year, which would have been probably 87, early 88, there was a mini ramp. There was a small mini ramp.
What, in the same patch?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of skaters there. There was a ton, and like Felix Arguelles, which I don't know if you know who he is.
No, I don't know that name.
He worked and skated for Planet Earth, and then I think he's been some sort of TV host for stuff. But he was a big part of all that stuff. And eventually, what happened to him was he made the ramp and got everything together with everybody, but he broke his leg walking up the stairs. The ladder snapped and he fell through it, and he broke his leg. So then he got into street skating really, really heavy, and he was one of the first dudes to get on shut with Rodney and everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And what's the? I saw as well that you rode an AFA contest or went to an AFA contest.
That
would have been around the same time.
Yeah, that was during that time of that ramp, and I never ridden a quarter pipe before.
All right.
So that was what year is that? It was the Wayne, New Jersey AFA. It was the second time Joe Johnson did the tail whips.
Oh wow.
Because the magazine didn't show it yet, so I didn't know. So this is actually a true crazy story. I went to that contest with the twins, with Sanford and Rich.
All right.
And they were always like my mentors, kind of my brutal coaches. Like, you know, they're the guys that got me into King Diamond.
Good dudes.
But the Wayne contest was coming up, and I was like, I want to go see. I never saw riding live before, like legit, nothing. So only in the magazines, and then I think what video was out, 101 freestyle tricks and shit.
Yeah.
I'm good friends with Scott Town, so I fuck with him every time, and I rap that video at him as soon as I see a freestyle video called Rad TV. Hey, what do you want on your TV?
Does he do the narrating on that?
That's him.
I didn't know that. Yeah, no way.
Forgive me right from the start, dude. I might be all over the fucking place.
No, it's all good, man. No, we don't need. We go where it takes us. Yeah, it's all right, man.
For the two people that listen or watch this, they're going to be like, that dude's nuts.
Who did you see at the concert? Is this the first time you're seeing like other like freestylers?
Real riding. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not seeing a demo or nothing, no?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I eventually did see some after. But so that, whatever year that was, I think that's 88, maybe early 88. So it's the Wayne, New Jersey. It's the second time at a contest that Joe's doing tail whips. The first one was, I think that was Missouri or something, AFA Missouri. But that magazine didn't come out yet, so I didn't even know that that it was existing yet.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through the back door with those dudes, and you could just hear rumbling and how people stamp on the bleachers and shit. And I'm like, whoa, this is fucking scary. What the fuck is? And I'm kind of I still am an introvert. I don't really like to be around people. So the fucking place is erupting. I opened the door, and the first fucking thing I saw was Joe Johnson do a tail whip.
No way.
And all I was focused on was those crazy big shin guards that he wore and the fucking big knee pads. Because him and Dennis weren't sponsored at the time for anything. I think just Adidas.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the first thing I saw live riding. Was Joe Johnson doing a fucking tail whip.
Mind blown, right?
Oh my God, I was like, holy shit. And then I was looking at the ramps and I'm like, wow, these are small. That's really far. So when it came, and ironically, the next person that I recognized was Rick Thorne,
Oh, okay.
who I'm really close to. Rick, I love Rick, and I was like identifying with him because he had army pants on and a black T-shirt. And I'm like,
All right.
yeah,
That's my dude. Yeah.
yeah. And I had that horror sport at this point.
Okay.
And, so I rode. I must have been riding, I think, 16 or 17 novice or whatever. And my first run, I was scared, terrified. I went pedaling as fast as I could at the quarter pipe, not knowing how to pump an 8-foot quarter pipe versus a 13-foot transition. So I just pulled. I was like, all right, there's no vert on this. I should be able to compensate, go high, pull.
Yeah.
And at that time, I already could do about 6-7 foot airs on the big vert ramp. So I figured, all right, this shouldn't be that hard. I didn't have a lot of tricks, though. But yeah, anyways, it wasn't a good sight. I pulled. I missed the entire transition of the ramp. I probably went 3 feet out, but 8 feet out from the quarter. I landed, smashed flat bottom. My bars went forward. I fell on my knees, whatever. And I looked straight over at Sanford and Rich, and I was like, I'm not riding. I'm done. And they were immediately calling me a pussy. Calling me out. And
was that it? You did one air and that was it?
That was it.
Okay, no way. Who else did you see ride at that event?
Everybody. I mean,
okay.
Man, if I remember correctly, it was Todd Anderson, because that's one of my favorite riders ever is Todd Anderson.
Yeah, same, yeah.
Yeah, Wilkerson, all the pros. Matt was coming up still as expert. Yeah, I think even Evan Krakow was there. Joel Alamo, who I eventually became friends with. But everybody was there. It was the big AFAs.
No way. Yeah. Is that in a mag, that one? Do you know?
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
That's why I refer to those shin guards. If you know what I'm talking about, Joe Johnson used to wear these big, crazy, burly shin guards, black shin guards. And it was always when he was doing the first few tail whips.
Yeah, I remember the sequence of him in the, like the one you see, it was the parting shot, right? In the one of the back of mags,
Yeah.
I remember it, yeah. And there's a couple of pictures where he's like got his feet kind of spread and them shin guards and the Adidas top and stuff. Yeah, them, like iconic pics, yeah. So you met Rick Thorne and who else did you meet that was at that contest? Did you meet any other people?
I didn't talk to anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I just was like, ooh.
Oh, you're just taking it in, yeah? You didn't hit the quarters. The rest of the day, you didn't even hit the quarters at all, no?
Oh, fuck no. My entire drive home, I was called a pussy about 800 times.
Tough love, mate. Tough love.
Yeah, dude, as we move forward, I'll tell you another one, but it involves them. But it was good. I needed it.
So where do you go back home from that event? What's on your mind now? Like, what's next?
Nothing.
You got no ramp to ride, or you don't want to hit another quarter. That's what I'm getting at. Like, where do you?
I still wanted to ride. Like riding was always my outlet. As many people, I had a fucked up family. So that was my way of getting away from everything. And those two guys and myself got a really tight bond when it just was the three of us. And then when the one brother got hurt, it was me and the other brother. So we were pretty close for a few years. And so we just rode the road. And those guys are phenomenal vert skaters. And like they still kill it right now. They live next door to Elliot Sloan, the mega ramp skater kid.
Okay.
And like he's one of their he is actually one of their proteges.
All right.
And I know Elliot pretty decently too. But all that being said, they're still shredding right now, dude. Like one of them does some demos for Eric Soto out in California. So those were lifer guys that I was around that kind of made me want to be a lifer to what I'm in, you know?
Yeah. How much older were they than you?
3 years. 3 years.
Oh, not much. Yeah, but enough at that point in time. It's like these guys are almost adults and you're like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even in high school, like I was a fuck up not because of drugs or anything, because I didn't do any weird shit till later on in life. but I didn't like school. And the one brother would be like, dude, you got to finish high school. Things like that.
Oh, okay.
Even though I didn't, but
Yeah, that's cool. They was kind of looking out for you though as well, you know.
Yeah. They were definitely tough love kind of guys because they had it rough. They had a pretty up life too, and so it was like a perfect storm of the three of us getting to know each other.
Yeah. And what's your like? So what is the next step for the BMX? Like, did I see? Is this the point that you get into like hardcore music?
I was already into that because
you was already in it.
Oh hell yeah.
But like, not just the metal though, like the actual like youth crew and stuff. Like, when did you start getting into that sort of music?
So those dudes are metalheads.
Yeah.
They fucking hate New York hardcore.
All right.
And I love New York hardcore. And then a little off track, they have an older brother. He's fucking insane. I'm still really close to him. And he's easily, John, the most punk rock fucking person I know ever.
Okay.
We know some of the same people.
Yeah.
So their brother's name, his real name is Herminio, because he's Cuban, but he goes by the name Chach, like Chach from Happy Days.
Yeah.
And he's got fucked up exploited tattoos and just all the bad shit. Been in prison, crazy motherfucker. Dark skinned guy, and he was into hardcore. So I used to check out some shit with him, and then eventually I started going to. I used to go to shows sometimes by myself too. Like I've been to CBG, I've been to CBGBs by myself. But back then, those guys, Sanford and Rich, they were heavy into metal. So we used to see King Diamond, Testament, Slayer a few times. I even saw Metallica on Injustice for All, which I thought they sucked.
Wow. Oh, no way, yeah.
Well, I didn't like them live, but yeah, I saw Testament at like I've been to some of the craziest clubs in New York. Like I've been to the Ritz, L'Amour's, CBGB's. There was even a club, Blue Steel, that had a vert ramp.
Oh, really?
We used to ride the vert ramp.
No way. What were some of the like early hardcore shows you saw then?
I've seen Cro-Mags.
Oh, really? What, the real ones, yeah?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Whereabouts was that?
That was CB's. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And there's like later on, even like, especially when I started drinking, I went to a lot of shows at CB's. I can't even remember most of them.
Yeah, I went there once. If this was way late though, this was like '97 or something, for one of those sort of new. They were revamping the Sunday matinee hardcore shows. Yeah. It was cool to go, but it was not like it was kind of done by then. Really, from the outside weird. Anyway.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly. Like I went there just before it closed, and so I don't even remember what I saw. But the irony though, for me, CB's wasn't as cool as like those other ones I'm talking about, Ritz and L'Amour's.
Okay.
Those were awesome venues. They were really, really cool. King Diamond, I'd seen him, I think 2, maybe 3 times at like those settings. It was awesome.
In the 80s, this is.
Yeah. Late 80s. Late 80s. Yeah.
real times. What was the Cro-Mag show like?
Oh, that was phenomenal. Anytime I went over to New York by myself, though, it was always a little bit like, ooh.
Yeah.
Because it was easy to get there. I just took the PATH train.
Okay.
Yeah, but
how long was that? Like, how long's the train ride from where you was to New York City?
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh, like right there, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm born in Hoboken, but I wasn't raised in Hoboken, and Hoboken's like really expensive now. But where I lived in North Bergen or Union City and West New York, like where Vinnie Salmon's from, those areas.
Yeah.
You can hop on a train down in Hoboken and be in downtown Village in 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's cool, man. Let's give you some good experiences then, being that close, right, in that place.
Yeah, man. You take it for granted.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's things that people wish they were there for,
Yeah, like yourself with London and all the cool things you've had. Like, people aren't going to experience some of the shit we've experienced.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. yeah, you do sort of you do come numb to it. You just like take it as that's just what's going on everywhere, but it's not. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
what did you? I saw somewhere as well that you went to the 2-hip street contest. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and there was another piece of information that I got that was like you rode a 2-hip King of Vert.
Yes.
What's first?
Well, the street comp was the day before.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the Brooklyn Banks comp.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So here's fucked up stuff. Sanford and Rich hated street. They didn't like street skating, and they didn't like leaving the ramp, or unless it was go see shows or something, right?
Yeah.
And they were straight edge too. Like, you know, they didn't fuck around. I wouldn't say I was straight edge, but I never fucked around. And it was mostly because my family, my brother died of AIDS and all other kinds of crazy shit. So I didn't fuck around till really a little bit before I went to England. The first time. But yeah, 2-hip comp was less than a year, I think, after the AFA contest.
Okay.
And did I go to California? I did. I already actually made my first trip to California. So whatever year that was, it must have been 89.
Yeah,
I was
89, I think.
I was riding a GT Aggressor, the Bash Guard bike, and Brooklyn Banks comp. So whatever date is the Brooklyn Banks comp, I was already at that comp. But the fucking irony was, I actually had some cool lines at that Brooklyn Banks, because why I'd end up in New York was I'd go to ride Brooklyn Banks by myself.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like a lot, dude. Like, I'm not fucking exaggerating. I'm weird OCD'd back then. Well, still am. But I used to ride the Brooklyn Banks a ton. And a bunch of the shut guys would be there, and people that I knew from New Jersey side. So I'd hang out all night, hit shit up. It's also why I missed so much school.
All right.
I was doing that. But Rich and Milf never went with me. Oh, by the way, Sanford's nickname was Milf.
All right.
But they wouldn't go do that shit with me, so I just always do my own thing in that sense. And by that time, BMX Street was already kind of existing. You know, I looked up to Pete Augustin and the usual groups, and especially British riders were already on my radar big time.
Oh, really?
Oh,
so
fuck.
Craig Campbell, I guess, and Jess.
Of course.
Right? Yeah.
Of course.
But had you seen any UK mags at this point, or had you just seen UK guys from freestyling?
You know that one pivotal freestyling where I think we talked about it, where Nick Phillips is in it, and I think Dave Frame and stuff. The one where it's an England scene report in freestyling, and then everybody had like punk rock stickers on there.
Chingford, yeah. I was there that day, yeah.
Greg Giat was in that, maybe?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Dave Slade, yeah.
Yeah, it's Slade, and then the corrosion and conformity stickers. And,
yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That actually meant the most to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy, because I met some New York guys like at Woodward like 20 plus years ago. Eddie Rios and his guys, you know.
Yeah.
And those guys were telling me about that as well, like that issue. They were like, "That's the one."
Yeah.
And they all thought that BMX was bigger in the UK than America. And I was like, "No, it's not. It's not." And they were like, "No, but you know and they were telling me all about the pictures and stuff, like it was fully in their heads. Yeah, it was good. And it's the same as you, same as what you just told me then. So that's good.
I think that impacted, a lot more people than any of you fucking Brits even realize, because it hit me a lot, and we'll probably get there in a minute. But I eventually had a number plate on a bike when I lived in Cali, and I tried to mimic it like those.
Yeah.
I never
like those little triangle ones, because they had like those bars were called Action Zone, and they were made by like a well-known guy, Dave Curry over here. That was his brand.
I know Dave Curry.
Okay, so they'd made that like plate for them bars, yeah.
Like the forklifter style.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I had forklifter bars with the Club Homeboy stickers on them, because that was my big obsession too. I was really into Club Homeboy, and I was even a member, dude.
All right.
So yeah, that Brooklyn Banks, like I used to 360 over from out of the bank over the Jersey barrier into the street, or the off ramp from the Brooklyn Bridge, and I never thought anything of that. Like for some reason, I could 540 on the vert ramp, do 360s off of anything, and I never thought that like I was doing anything special.
Yeah.
And so when that contest came up, I was like, oh, I'll ride. That'll be fun. So I went over by myself to the comp day, and again, another scenario of the first thing I fucking see was Dave Volker doing the nose pick tail whip on the Jersey barrier. And I mean, that was even more impactful than the fucking tail whip from Joe Johnson.
All right, yeah.
So immediately I went off into the corner and I was like, I'm not riding. And I just hiding myself. And I regret it because I feel like I could have had a lot of fun. But it was pretty fucking surreal, man, because I looked up to Craig Grosso and Volker and all that. So now I'm seeing them for the first times. I think I saw Volker at the AFA. But Grosso was fucking another one that was kind of like he had an image, and it was kind of reflected the British image.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was always attracted to that stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, I was at that comp, man. It was wild. The vibe was amazing. The amount of people that was there. The fact that Ron Wilkerson doesn't even get permits for all this fucking crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And Volker did that 270 off the wall. I remember seeing that for the first time going, wow, I would have never have thought of that.
Yeah.
And it was just...
that seemed like really like a loud, sort of vibrant, like, I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of energy there. If you watch the video, for like, even, obviously I'm only watching a video, but it seems really like ferocious almost, there's a lot going on there. Was there many people there?
Oh my God, it was packed. Have you been
it was busy, yeah? But not forever, yeah.
It's a pretty wide open area, but it was fucking packed with human beings. Plus they had the box jump and some other stuff scattered around. And like, I think it was Joe Johnson did a fakie on the lamppost.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I did that all the fucking time. But yes, but I didn't ride, mostly probably because I didn't have my little coaches calling me a pussy. And so the next day was the vert comp, and they were pushing me hard on that one. And at that time we had a ramp in Bloomfield, which was even harder to ride than the ShopRite shut ramp. And that ramp was in Bloomfield. It had steel flat bottom. It was almost 14 tall, I think, and it had a lot of vert. And I have photos of riding that one. I did like 8-foot airs on that, basic tricks, 1-footers and stuff like that, and 540s, just like a little bit above coping or something. But so yeah, I figured, I'll ride the comp, or at least try. And we got there. I rode. And again, I still don't know how to roll in yet.
Okay.
So I've seen a clip. I'll try to find it. And this is a true funny story. So I'm at the King of Vert that was Long Island, New York, the day after Brooklyn Banks. I'm riding a GT Aggressor, and like I'm just blown away by everybody. John Byers is there. Like, just the riding was like, holy shit. And my two dudes were blown away by John Byers. That was like their favorite rider of the day.
All right.
Dominguez was there. It was his final ride ever. But I was on the roll-in to always roll in, and like I'd roll into probably a 3-foot air, 4-foot, progress from there, and very minimal tricks. But I was going higher than the Vision Streetwear signs. So I was going.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
But all that being said, I started talking myself out of it, and I there's a clip where you can see these two little black dudes sitting on the side of the ramp, and it's them. And I roll over to them, and I'm like, I don't want to ride. I don't want to ride. And I'm a pussy again. So I fucking get up on the ramp, and like, we've ridden together, and probably in my prime, I used to be able to blank shit out and like just go for shit. I didn't have that yet. I was still figuring some shit out. And so I did ride, but I did try, like I tried disasters. I've never tried disasters before in my life. And fucking flipped over the bars. So nothing worked out for me, so I didn't qualify. But a funny part to this whole story was every time I was on the roll-in, And this was where Dave Mirra became Dave Mirra. That the photos of him riding that red dyno and stuff was at that contest. He kept snaking me, and like he just would not let me roll in. Dominguez, I've told this story to Dominguez. Dominguez rolled over to me, blocked Mirra, and said, "Hey, dude, this guy's been trying to go in for like a half hour."
Well, because you was going down the roll-in.
Every time I tried to go, Dave cut me off.
Okay.
And for some odd reason, the only time there would have been an opening was whenever he was there, because otherwise it was just a snake fest. And then there's a photo, or I took a still image from some video I saw. I got to find that. I'm on the roll-in. I got burgundy Life's a Beach shorts on, a fucked up dyno helmet, and my GT Aggressor. Jay Miron's peg grinding.
All right.
So I stilled it. Jay's here and I'm here. That's the only image I have of that contest. And then obviously the irony of it all is I became friends with all those guys.
Yeah. Oh. I didn't know there was that was after that Meet the Street. There was a half-pipe jam. Yeah.
I keep saying the next day, but it might have been a day and a half or something.
Okay, but even so, like still next to each other, like I didn't know that at all.
It was the same weekend.
Okay. And have you got any riding buddies at this point, or are you still doing it alone?
No, it's just me, Milf, and Rich.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh well, no, now I'm fucking lying because I did go to California before that.
Okay.
So that California trip is actually where I met Dave Clymer and Chris and everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
How comes you end up in California?
My grandma, my grandmother brought me out because they had family. So my mom and the rest of the family were in New Jersey, and my grandmother, her husband passed away or whatever the case may be. And she said, I want to take Keith to California to go visit her other sons. And they were in Westminster, California.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I went and visited this is a true funny story. So yeah, that would have been probably 2 months before that contest. So whatever date that contest was. And I actually bought that GT Aggressor from Albies, but because Kim Boyle was riding the prototype back when I first met him. So I go to California, Westminster, and my family they lived in a house in Westminster off Golden West Street. And I used the magazine to find the GT address, GT warehouse address.
Yeah.
And that's back when Stonehenge was first built.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah. So crazy, true fucking story. John Paul even mentioned this recently. I rode 10 miles or so to go find GT. And this is before phones and GPS and everything. And I just used the magazine address and found it.
That's what happened back then, right?
Yeah, and so whatever the fucking case may be, I got on my bike. The family thought I was nuts. So I just wanted to look at GT. That's all.
Yeah.
I was going there to just look at GT. And I got there, and the fucking Stonehenge ramp was set up. Magoo, Dave Clymer, Ralph Burns, John Paul Rogers, Ron Bonner, and a few other people were in the fucking riding the ramp, closed in the gate. So John Paul makes fun of this story all the time. So I peeked in, and I'm like, I recognize John Paul. I was like, hey, that's the guy that does knack-knacks but doesn't pull them. And then I'm like, fuck, that's Dave Clymer. Holy shit. And of course, I know who Magoo was. I didn't know Ronnie yet or anything. So I looked in, and I'm staring. And the only person that's willing to even interact with me was John Paul. And I'm like, can I ride? And he thought I was just some kid, which I am.
Which you were, yeah. I was going to say he was, yeah.
And I was like, he made some insults, which that's what he does. And then it ended with, hey, if you get a helmet, you can come back. And I think they thought I wouldn't come back. So I did. I pedaled 10 miles, went back to my my uncle's house, got my helmet, and pedaled back. So I must have pedaled at least 25 miles at minimum to do this. I got there. Hey, can I ride? they immediately are making fun of me, and they're just thinking like, what the hell is this guy? I'm a brag. I shut the motherfucker down.
So you did get to ride, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
And then Clymer and Ron Bonner were like the nicest people ever. And then Clymer was like, where you from? What are you doing? How long you around? Come hang out with us and stuff. The POW house didn't exist yet. And Bonner, I think, was just starting UGP.
Okay.
So I bonded with him. I bonded with Dave, John Paul a little bit, and the guy Ralph, and Magoo. Magoo wasn't very friendly either. But anyways, like from the rest of the time I was there probably like 3 weeks or something. I'd end up linking up. So they all were staying at Moeller's original apartment in Huntington Beach, right at the water.
Yeah.
So I would link up with them. So I rode the Magnolia trails with them, the wetlands, Santa Ana Civic Center, where eventually we did the rails. That place was phenomenal for back then because Dave was doing those curved wall rides when nobody was doing that shit.
Oh, yeah, that's early, yeah.
Dude, and he'd be going Mach 10 AA Pro style at them. And, like, I'd never seen someone do that before. And just, boom, he'd fly around the whole fucking thing, Mach 10. And I was like, wow, I'm going to try that. I couldn't do it.
But, well, this is 80s, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that would have been either late 88 or early in 89, somewhere in there. Because California was always nice weather, right? So
yeah.
But it would have only been a few months before that two hip comp in Brooklyn Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot Kim Boyle. Kim Boyle was becoming the GTT manager. I think he was taking over for Magoo. So I met him there, and he had that prototype aggressor. So by the time I rode that contest, I bought that aggressor.
All right. Oh, cool, man. Is this is this how you end up almost riding for GT at some point, or is that later?
Sorry, this is bouncing around because
no problem.
Before the two hip comp, but yeah. Anyways, I went back to New Jersey, fully believing like my dad wanted me to be a truck driver and shit. So that's kind of what I thought I was going to be. I don't know if it was around the two hip comp or not, but my mom and her parts of the family decided they were going to move to California.
All right.
So they up and left and went to Cali. I stayed back, and I was crashing with my dad and hanging out with Sanford and Rich still. So I think I went to Cali like in the middle of '89, somewhere along that timeline. So back when I knew Dave and them, when they were staying at Chris's house, Moeller's house, Moeller wasn't around during that time because he was, I think, out east racing or something. And but again, Dave was phenomenal, man. He treated me like I was one of him, and he'd wherever I met up with them, drive us around, and we'd hit spots. And
cool, man.
That was my first time really riding with people. I don't even think Clymer knows that. I don't think I've never talked about any of that. Like a lot of people didn't know I didn't ride with BMXers.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. Yeah, I just assumed there was a small crew of people in New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I barely rode with any BMXers, and then
wow.
I mean, really, if like you reflect on my style of riding it, in the way I pump and stuff, it all came from skating, and like
yeah.
And my influences are actually more from skating than they were BMX.
Yeah, it's starting to fall into place now, because that was one of my questions that I had for you later on, was like, where did you get the sort of, it's kind of like the aggro style of like doing stuff, because you was one of the first that had that like snap, like dum dum.
Yeah.
And when you do lip tricks, you wasn't like balancing there for ages, like. And I always remember that from watching early footage of you. It's like bat 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 bat, and it's all like cat cat. It's almost like a martial art type of,
Yeah.
like a snap to it, which is the way I think the bike riding looks good. Like it's authoritative and like it's angry. I like that way of doing it. Yeah.
It was definitely mimicking skaters. It was
that's what vert skating was like late '80s.
Airs, snap, and different flappy grinds, and because I used to skate a lot too. Like I actually used to skate vert. Anytime my bike broke, would skate the vert. I sucked, but I would skate the vert ramp, and I could at least drop in. And I tried 540s a couple of times.
No way.
It didn't go well.
That was what else I was going to ask you earlier on. Like, how did you end up with this, like, this 540 thing that you was doing early?
This is a funny, real story. At that ramp, the guy Felix Arguelles that I was referring to, he popped up one day at the ramp, and he had just healed up from his broken leg. And it was just me and him. And he was trying to get back his rhythm on skating. And if I remember correctly, he was trying hand plants and stuff below coping. And I hadn't seen any of them do that yet. Like, they all already were doing everything at coping and above coping. Yeah. And he was doing that. And I was like, man, I wonder. So I actually tried just a 360 the fakie first, because he was doing like little ollies like that and stuff. And then I was like, I wonder if I can make it all the way around. And I did. I made my first 540s with Felix Arguelles. And I remember him going, holy shit, what the because he didn't really know what bikes was, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember from that going, wow, I find spinning to be really easy. And so I eventually was doing them a little bit out on that ramp, and then to a bigger ramp where I was going fully out, and so on and so on. But I mean, there was a point when I think it was Lake Owen Woodward comp, I was doing probably 6 or 7 foot 540s.
Oh, so, no way.
Yeah. I don't know why, how.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But like I always did live by the philosophy. Obviously, later on, it came from McCoy. Do you remember when he used to say, if you could bunny hop it, you could 360 it?
I've heard something similar to that, but I don't know where it come from. Yeah.
McCoy is who I heard it from. I'm sure a lot
What was he referring to? Going downstairs or something?
Anything.
Anything. Anything. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
So I adopted the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I 360'd anything.
Yeah, I saw in some of them parts, I watched them this week, that you had that quick spin off of stuff, and because you was doing the one-handed as well on one of them videos. I can't remember which one it was. And I was like, wow, that's pretty, like, you got to be pretty quick thinking to be able to do that. You know, that's a fast move. So that all fits into place.
I'm super ADHD, and I always have been. I'm probably a little mellower now, but I think that's why I used to be able to do contest runs and stuff, because my mind was just spatting out and just thinking quickly. And the very few contests where I actually did okay I was just on it, you know?
Yeah.
My ADHD worked for a minute.
Yeah, no, it worked, and it looked good as well. It was working to good effect. So you're back in New Jersey. Like, how you think you're going to be a truck driver? But how do you end up going back to New York? Like, how does the New Jersey thing fizzle down?
Simple. My dad and I weren't getting along. And
okay.
I just was like, Mom, can I come back out there? Or, well, can I come out there? So this is funny. I have a lot of weird ironies in my life. So when I do get out there, she lived in this little apartment, which eventually is where I met Alex Leach and stuff. That apartment was on Heil and Golden West in Huntington. There was an AM/PM across. Remember the AM/PMs, the gas stations?
Yeah.
Directly behind that was Jason Lee's house. Jason Lee, the skater.
Yeah.
Felix Arguelles comes back into this picture. So I'm living there a couple of months now by this point, and I don't know about the POW house or nothing yet. I didn't, and I didn't make any friends just yet. And so somehow I found out Felix was at Jason's house, because he ended up skating for Blind and then being affiliated to the SMA and stuff like that. But anyways, I find that out, and I go across the street, I pedal across the street, and I get to meet Jason Lee and talk to Felix. And they hated bikes, but Felix let me ride it. So I rode Jason Lee's old ramp that was actually in the Blind video, the first one Spike Jones produced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that Rubbish Heap or something? What was that called?
No, Rubbish Heap was World Industries. Blind was the video day.
Video Days, that's it. Yeah, that was a famous one. Yeah.
That was such a good video. But yeah, that ramp that's in that at Jason Lee's part, I actually rode my bike on that.
What was the ramp? Was it the vert ramp or?
No, it was a mini. It was a decent mini. It was like 6.5 or something for back then. But yeah, again, weird irony that I bump into Felix at that ramp in California. Like, it just was weird. And I've never seen Felix since.
No way.
Since that day. But
is he still in California? Was HB was a big hub for BMX and skating back then? Well, BMX was really small, but skating was that was a hub, wasn't it? Like, big time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people went to Huntington because of Moeller being there when starting S&M.
Yeah.
So Dave came out, Bonner, everybody came out, and then eventually the POW house. So Huntington became kind of the hub of it all. For me, it just was accidental. And then right down the street was this flyout jump called Ocean View at a high school. I don't even know how I found it, but I used to ride a lot by myself, man. Like, I pedaled to so many crazy places in California just to ride things I saw in magazines. Like, I used to go to the Hater Wall and then the colleges and Huntington Beach High School. So I'd hit all those things up already by myself. And then eventually at Ocean View, which was the flyout jump, the first group of people I met was Woody Itzen, George Smoot, Josh White was there a couple of times. And then eventually it was Pova and Sean McKinney.
Okay.
And then that's where I started to link up with them. Yeah.
And is this around the time of the Ultimate Weekend? Okay. Because you had clips in. I take it they were the first clips you had in a video then.
I mean, I get made fun of a lot for that video because it does kind of stink, but I sound like I'm going to make a sob story here, but I had a fucked up family life, and like I was always avoiding where I lived, and I didn't have a job, so I just rode. I just wanted to ride my bike. It was my outlet. It's what I love doing. I didn't drink or drug yet. I didn't have a girlfriend. I just wanted to ride my fucking bike. So that's how I ended up in Ultimate Weekend all the time. The guy, Steve Emig, that made that, had a car, and he would drive me, and I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'll go to ride this spot.
I don't see the issue with it. I thought it was all right. It's pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah, I didn't know he'd even really make the video. So, yeah, that's all that was.
That's good. That's a good time capsule. I like it.
I just wanted to ride, man, and I think Alex Leach has a clip in that video, and then Pova's in it too. But during that, Pova already had been in America like a year or something, but he was more focusing on a career and figuring out what he was going to do. Because I mean, BMX was fucking dead.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no money and there was no thing, but for me, it was my outlet, and I loved it literally. So I didn't give a fuck. I was going to win contests or do anything with it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, your escape, is it? That's what it was, right?
Yeah,
your escape out of real life, like
100%. And then eventually getting to know John, and that's this right here is exactly why I wanted to even do the podcast. Was that was my beginning stages of having a really strong connection to English riders.
With Pova, yeah.
Yeah,
Pova and Alex Leach, I guess, as well, around the same time.
And like I said, that freestyle magazine was so important and pivotal to me. None of that made sense to me until like recent years, where I was like, wow, it's kind of crazy how my timeline went with BMX. And not to kind of jump around, but I was talking to Stu Dawkins when I was last over. I know him from about 89-ish too, because he stayed at the fucking POW house. And that alone was a weird, crazy fucking story. And the irony is he was in a car with one of the black guys I grew up with. so I was like, wow, this is weird.
All the way circle back again, yeah. But what was that like, meeting Pova? Like,
oh, he was cool. It was, I mean, I'm the weirdo. Like, I had a black PK Ripper. So now we can go back to the number plate. I had an all-black PK Ripper. I had a Haro number plate with all punk rock stickers on it and metal bands. to reflect the fucking corrosion of conformity plates.
Yeah.
And I did have a corrosion conformity sticker on it. Black mags, whatever. But I used to ride that jump. Jumps were always easy to me. If you could ride vert, you could ride anything. So like that stupid fly out, I'd go as fast as I fucking could at it and go like 10 feet out of the fucking thing. No exaggeration, like, you know, the people that say they rode for red line or something. But that was legitimately what I did. I just fucking crank as fast as I could, and I could 360 out of it. And so there was a legend of this weird kid from New Jersey flying in and flying out. So like the fly out had a runway into it. I didn't sit at the runway with everybody. I made my own. I used to come from outside the parking lot and bomb in, and I would cut around everyone to get to the fucking lip. So that was the story. Like again, I'm an awkward person, so I wouldn't talk to anybody.
And who else used to session there? Just like the local guys, like race guys and that, and Pova.
Yeah, well, the race guys already had doubles and some good jumps that eventually we rode, but like at first, Woody Itzen would be there, and I actually played a game of bike with him once, and he beat me.
This is quite late for Woody Itzen as well, right?
Oh yeah, dude. He used to.
I didn't know he rode that long. Yeah.
He used to ride the fly out, and well, I think that's actually when you asked me about GT. That might have been how I was getting linked towards GT.
Okay.
But he would do the fly out and land right on the top of the lip, so it was like he was doing fly out boobagas.
Oh, okay, yeah, up and straight down.
But he was fun, man. He was a nice guy. And then Pova and I eventually, I think it was Sean McKinney who I really connected with first. And Sean was a hardcore flatlander at that time, but he liked riding that fly out jump. And Sean was normal then. He wasn't fucking partying yet either. So John, myself, and Sean, we didn't party. We just loved riding our bikes. Started linking up, and they had cars, so I would go wherever they could take me. And we would ride like Regional Pool or Santa Ana Civic Center and all the spots that became iconic later on. So for the most part, I always rode that stuff with Pova. me and Pova rode together a lot in a short span of time. Yeah,
and that's how you ended up. But how did you end up with the cover of Ride? Invert.
Yeah. Sorry. Brad McDonald, and by that time I was already on S&M and stuff.
Okay, so let's get to that then. So, how did you go from that point to getting on S&M?
Again, hanging out with Pova, and then when Pova, Alex Leach and his friend Rob came over for the first time, and they were staying with John. But John didn't ride as much at the moment because he had a job and everything. So he kind of pawned them off to me. And they had this weird rental beat-up fucking van they got or whatever. And my mom, where we lived, her apartment, the one that was across from Jason Lee, had a parking spot. And none of us had a car in that house. In that apartment. I don't want to make a sad story, but I have to kind of explain this particular situation. The apartment was a 2-bedroom apartment. I shared a room with my mom, and my sister had a room with her, became her ex-husband, and the guy stabbed her 12 fucking times.
Wow.
But so he was a crazy Puerto Rican guy. My mom was ill most of my life, so at this stage she had emphysema, was on oxygen 24 hours a day, and she wore diapers and shit. So it was kind of embarrassing for her, and like I used to have to help her change her diapers and things. So Mulder fucked with me about this too back in the past, man, and I never addressed it. I did tell Alex that I was offended by some of the things he had said. But anyways, it was a really weird situation. But to add a little more to the bullshit story, my brother lived in the living room, slept in the living room, and he had AIDS. My brother was dying of AIDS from being a heroin junkie. So he was just always drunk, tanked out of his mind, really crazy, like really crazy. So my mom was always self-conscious of things. And so when I kind of put her on the spot and was like, hey, I know these guys from England. Let them park here. We don't use the parking spot. And being kind of naive about things. She was like, okay, they could stay there, but we can't have them in the house. And like, I'd still be like, why not? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not realizing that most people are not living like that.
Yeah.
Especially some somewhat wealthy people coming from fucking Oxford.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then, Alex, he's amazing. I like him a lot. And, he connected with Moeller really well because they're kind of similar, man. Middle-class people. I've always been a little bit of an outcast to everybody because I am from poverty, man. And I don't mean that to sound like a fucking sob story. It's just the truth of my story. That particular scenario was my life. So when I say I was hiding from things all the time, that's what I was hiding from.
Yeah.
AIDS, drugs, alcohol, diapers, and that's also why I was straight edge. And that's why I also spent a lot of time by myself. So at the time, Pova knew a little bit about my personal life. But again, he wasn't riding, and he knew I was riding, and he wanted Alex to have someone to chill out with. So we did. We rode quite a bit and stuff. And, there was times when there was humor made about my personal situation because, like, my mom there was one bathroom, and she didn't want people in the house. And they would make fun of that. Like, we can't even go in and use his bathroom. And boom. Like, man, get over it.
Yeah.
Go shit at fucking AM PM. But anyways, eventually, I don't even know how we linked up with Moeller. And I might have been riding to one of the schools or something. And Alex wanted to buy some stuff from S&M, and that's when Chris had everything in his little garage, and it was in Huntington Beach. He called it the Winnebago apartment. So I went with Alex and Rob one time for them to get some parts. So I bought a pair of bars. I bought some slam bars and a pad set, and I was riding that cracked Taro at the time. But Chris, I think this is the first time I'm actually interacting with Chris. So kind of jumped ahead a little too because I had rode the Palm Springs 2 hip contest.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, so I was at that. I got to know Pete Augustin and like Vic Murphy.
Cool, man.
Vic Murphy was one of my heroes as well. So I rode that comp. Me and Pova were there. I had a cracked PK Ripper, another PK Ripper. I had like 5 of those frames. And Pova rigged the frame cracked where everybody's PK's cracked by the C-tube.
Yeah.
So cracked in half. Pova cut a DK stem in half, used the top and bottom part of the stem, drilled 2 holes on either side of the crack, and bolted the stem to that to hold it together. So
no way.
I rode the Meet the Street comp on a cracked PK Ripper. And I just saw footage of that.
Oh, where's that?
That was on Snakebite.
Oh, no way.
I gave it to Moeller a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
I'll try to find that.
Did you do any good at that contest?
Oh, fuck no.
No? Okay.
A little better than I did in New York, but...
Progress, mate. Progress.
Yeah. I think I did a few pretty unique tricks, though, and I just didn't combine it all together.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I kind of got to know Alex, was like right before that. But I already had met Chris there. And by that point, me and Dave were like friends. I knew Climber and stuff. So
yeah. And then that's your first connection to Chris. How do you end up getting on S&M, so to speak? Yeah.
So Alex bought like a full kit. So pretty much Alex and I had the same kit in the beginning. He had that black dirt bike, which apparently those were Mad Dog frames with dirt bike stickers.
All right.
And they were the last bikes made at GT. So Chris had those in stock with some slam bars and the crappy pitchforks. So anyways, Alex bought a kit. I think Rob probably bought some shirts or something. And then I bought a pair of bars. And then, like, less than a week later, I got a call from Moeller. He's like, hey, this is Keith? I'm like, yeah, what's up? Hey, you want to ride for us? It was just literally as simple as that. And my My response was, "Do you reimburse me for the bars?" and
And the response back was no.
Fuck no. Like, even from the beginning with Chris, like, he's notorious for fucking with people, and I've always been on guard with him. But yeah, I was an easy target. Yeah, no, that's as simple as that. It was like, you want to ride for us, and like when I had met him at his house with Alex, he told me some stories because he went to college at Golden West College, and it was a college that I used to ride by myself all the time. And he's like, I'd see you all the time. I see you. So he knew I rode a lot, and I was like, did you not want to say hello to another BMX rider?
No way.
Fuck. And then, there was other things that he would hear about in Huntington Beach about the weird guy from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The word was out. That's kind of like what it's like, isn't it? You hear the stories and piece it together.
It's loads of people like that, right? So
yeah.
I was just the odd one for the early days of Huntington Beach when everything was dead.
Yeah. And who else was riding for S&M at this point? You was on early, right, for one of the freestyle guys?
Yeah. Perry Mervar. Perry Mervar was there.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think he was on at that time.
Okay.
Climber, of course. Jimmy Levan and Mike Lausman got flow back then.
Okay.
Brian Hernandez. There was this dude, Crazy Red, a Huntington Beach.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He could do tail whips, and like, he was just a crazy dirt jumper guy that didn't do anything but could pull a tail whip.
Tail whip. Was he the guy who used to do the decade as well?
I think he tried them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was in one of those 2 hips at Mission Trails.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I remember seeing the footage. Yeah.
Yeah, the death jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he came by S&M when I worked there a couple of years ago. I think he died, or possibly. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then from there you go like Brad McDonald. It was was the invert thing before the go thing?
At the same time.
Same time. Okay.
Yeah. The irony on my Go interview, the bio, I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I remember it, yeah.
So the bio, I was already back east on that, and I was on S&M and stuff. And I was riding Malali skate park every day. And I used to be real tight with all those guys. And Chris called me for an interview. He's like, hey, you want to do an interview? It's for Go, whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. So my interview is written by, what was it? I want to say John Joseph, but that would have been Cro-Mags. I think he used to use a name, Joseph King or something.
Okay.
But that was actually Moeller.
All right.
And he interviewed me over the phone, and the photo was from Huntington Beach, some weird bank thing, and I was doing a turn down 1-footer. And
like Todd Anderson, kind of.
It was exactly Todd Anderson, because I stole a few of his tricks. And
no one else used that trick, though, either. That was a rare one, huh?
Yeah. And that was a good trick, because technically his look-back 1-footer.
Yeah.
I did it as turn downs, and then I did it on a few different things, but especially that foot plant fakie thing. I had a bunch of fucking conversation with Butcher once about that. I was like, motherfucker, you didn't invent that shit.
Which one?
The foot plant fakies on walls.
Oh, okay.
When you do foot plant table and come in fakie, Todd Anderson did those.
Yeah, that's right.
I had photos in BMX Plus doing them. And one time staying out in Bethlehem, I was drunk and I was like, fucking with him. I was like, you didn't invent those, Butcher.
Did he claim that he did? How did that come about? Okay.
He was being fucking cool about it.
You just making sure that you knew, yeah?
Yeah. Dude, I loved ruffling. I went from the introverted fucking weird little kid to the drunk weird guy. Yeah.
So did Brad McDonald take the photo in Go, or was that someone else?
Yeah.
Oh, he took the photo in Go.
Brad used to hang out with us quite a bit, man, because it was before he started Ride Magazine, and he was a photographer for Go as a freelance, and then he became friends with Mark Noble, and he'd do freelance for him. So anytime he shot photos of me or Pova or anybody, he'd sell them to whoever would buy them.
Yeah.
And then, back to the irony of Invert, I think I mentioned this to you. Over the years, I've had at least 8 people think I'm from England because of Invert.
Yeah.
And they just thought I was from there. Because remember the Friends interview I had with Pova?
Yeah. I've got them both here. I was looking earlier and so I noticed one on the previous, not the Friends interview, the one before, which is this one. You've got the cover.
Yep.
That way.
Yep.
You've got the cover, yeah, but there's nothing of you inside.
Is that the one of Pova though?
No, the one of Pova. He has the cover, which I take the photos were taken at the same time, right?
That's all the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a nose wheelie on a little bench there.
Yeah, it looks like he's just on the flat, doesn't it?
Yeah, that bench.
I was looking at that earlier.
There's a lot of crazy shit that went down on that bench.
But yeah, so you get the cover, but nothing else on the one before, and then you get the Friends stuff with the full feature, which was when you look at it now, you can really see it's bit the different presentation of what you and Pova are doing, even though you probably didn't even know at the time, you're just doing your thing. But when you look at it now, it's there's a pivotal point, I think.
It was.
And the mag as well is like a newspaper inside. The paper's terrible.
Yeah.
But what actually is going on and what's being created is really influential,
It was raw for
exactly,
sure.
Yeah.
It was raw. It was me and John riding whatever we could find because the skate parks in California were gone. There wasn't a lot of things to ride. The few places that were maybe someone had a backyard bowl or something, they wouldn't let bikes in. And then I never considered myself a vert rider, but that's what I was. And there was no vert. There was no ramps.
Yeah.
And John, he always spoke really highly of Harrow and those bowls and stuff like that.
Skate park, yeah.
Yeah, and he considered himself a bowl rider and shit. And I was like, man, I can't. Still to this day, I'm not a good cement rider. I'm just not. And he is. And even later on in life, years later, John could still ride bowls really well and stuff. But we were just riding whatever we could ride. And Huntington High in particular, because that's where all those photos are, and even that turn down 1-footer, that's all around Huntington. So that was our main street stuff, other than Santa Ana Civic Center, or sometimes we go to LA schools. And it was all because of skateboarding. The Huntington High was huge. With Chris Moeller was just talking to me about Ed Templeton. And he was like, did you ever watch some of those videos? And I was like, yeah, that's where I got all the ideas from.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was watching Ed Templeton skate or anything I saw of Valelli out in those areas and stuff. And the same for John. We would just see these things from the skaters and we're like, oh, all right, we'll go there,
Yeah. Did you know that was going to be a full feature in the mag, or did you just shoot photos to see what happened? Yeah, okay.
No, I didn't know any of it. And so that... the Go cover is actually from that same day as well. So the Go cover is just a feeble grind on that ledge.
Oh, all right.
The inset thing, and I think that's the issue before my bio. And then the bio photo was around the same time. The irony of the bio photo, too, is I used to ride like Ton Anderson a lot, even my bike. I didn't ride rear brakes. I just rode a front brake.
Okay.
But
no coaster, just freewheel on the back and a front brake.
Wheel on the front brake, yeah.
Wow.
And then a few times I would ride brakeless and stuff too. But so that was how we came. John and I would ride. We would just ride all those spots together and stuff. And so I guess I'll segue into the handrail stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, because this is early, isn't it, for handrails?
It's in
very early. Yeah.
I can't confirm, but that cover of Invert, I'm pretty sure that's an ice pick grind.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But I did do ice pick grinds on there, but I also did really quick feebles, and I was already doing, because Moeller already did, we called it Smoky Burrito, but he already had done a feeble grind, a bar spin.
Okay.
So, even back then, I was already doing some stuff like that. He gets 100% credit for that one, because he's the first I ever saw do a feeble grind the bar. Alex Leach was there for that.
Yeah.
But as far as the handrails go, Chris Day, remember Chris Day?
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Yeah,
Another one of my favorite riders too. He tried to bash guard grind one of those
that's right. Yeah,
side rails at Santa Ana Civic Center. So when Pova and I would go there to ride all the fucking time because those banks were awesome, every time I'd see that rail thinking like, you could peg that. You could fucking peg that. And like, I already did peg grinds on verts. I was like, man, it's got to be possible. And only, I think maybe Matt was doing the ones that ended up in head first. But head first, I don't think came out yet.
no, it wasn't out. Yeah,
Yeah. So, it's not like we were trying to invent anything either. So I don't think Pova would make fun of me because he used to say I was, you got a lot of self-confidence, Keith. But I believed what I believed, man. But you never would really think it was possible type shit. So anyways, what had happened for us, we would ride this pool, a really deep pool in Cerritos, I think it was, regional pool. And it was just a deep pool for carving around and shit. And it was a little shitty ass fucking rail that went down like 3 stairs into a smaller pool. And one day, both him and I were like, let's try it. And we were both on our shitty fucking Haro Sports with the fucking platforms on the back.
Yeah.
And GT pegs with the fucking, we used to have the knurled GT pegs, screw-on ones. We would cut a seat post, put the seat post inside it, and then put the other peg on it to make it a longer peg.
Okay.
And cut off the bolt on the end of the peg. Mostly that was John because I didn't understand shit. But anyways, I went for it, dude. True fucking story. John tells the story to Jeff Z, and I think even on the Unclicked podcast. I went at it thinking I was gonna fucking double peg it. I don't even know if my bike would have fit on the stupid fucking rail, but that was what was in my head. But because of a big goofy bike, the long rear end, and I used to ride Chicago style bar, I went right into an ice, and I iced, and I also went from the top of the rail, not just inked it. Again, totally by accident, landed, pulled it, looked at John like, what the fuck just happened? And if I remember correctly, he was pretty excited. I was more like, what the fuck? Because that's not what I wanted to do. And then I did it a few more times. I don't think he did any yet that day. And then eventually, I still had the cracked front tooth. I fixed it once. But anyways, I went a few days later by myself with actually my sister's ex-husband to do the rail some more. And I ate shit. I smashed my face. So I went up to John's house after work, after he got home from work. And I'm like, look, I smashed my fucking face. And for me, it was one of those first times of really going, oh, wow, I'm not fucking immortal. So,
yeah. But this stuff can really hurt, yeah.
Yeah. And so he ended up there with the guy from Ultimate Weekend and filmed pulling one. And it was fucking awesome. It was awesome. So I don't really say I did it first or nothing, because, again, I don't know if he did it the same day as I did. I may have gone on first, but regardless, together we did it.
Yeah.
And then, I've never talked about that shit ever, really. And it was in one of the ride magazines in a timeline, and Jeff Z credited myself for it. And that stirred up some fucking nonsense with, no, this person did it first, and this person... Who the fuck cares who did it first? It was actually really special if anybody was doing it first.
Yeah. Anyone for like them, that first year was like...
Yeah. Man, at the time, I didn't care. I still didn't know what was going to happen with BMX for me. I'm still thinking I'm going to be a truck driver. John was I think a house painter at the time, and I would work occasionally with him. And then, we weren't doing it thinking it was going to be remembered in 30 fucking years.
Yeah, of course. You were just doing it because you wanted to do it. Because that's what you did.
Yeah, and it was just fun. So yeah, he got the documented one. I did the ones with him, and then in that same timeline, I finally went and tried the one at Santa Ana Civic Center, and that one's on video. I got on. I barely was on. It was because it's a short rail, anyways. But I got on, boom, double peg, landed it. Woo!
What video is that in?
It's in Ultimate Weekend.
Oh, no way. I can't remember that clip, yeah.
Yeah, it's a blip, but what the section, I haven't seen that video in, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's in the section whenever we're all riding Santa Ana Civic Center.
Okay, I'll find it, yeah, no worries.
And then eventually, because Moeller did those rails too. He did them
that's right.
after that. And he did the front. We already did the front ones by that point, and then he got documented footage in one of those S&M videos doing them.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Oh man, that's amazing though. That's where it starts, isn't it? That's planting the seed to what comes next. Like,
yeah.
That doesn't matter how much you stayed on or like what length you did. The fact that you hit that obstacle and then come off of it and rode away is like that. That is the seed.
Yeah. And again,
that's where. Yeah.
I didn't consider myself a street rider, so it was just kind of like fun, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, through the years, that's what I was always known towards. Jeff Z's the only one that's ever said it legitimately. He's like, I don't consider Treanor a street rider because I don't have a lot of footage riding. But one thing I do get bitter at, John, and like, because I don't have a lot of video footage.
No, I looked the other day and I was like, oh wow, there's actually not as much as I was expecting.
I don't have a lot at all, and the only good part I had was Dirty Deeds, and that would have been just Dave filming. And that's actually how I always rode, man. Even when we rode the few times in England, when I would, like, Jerry Galley is probably my favorite rider ever. I always felt like that's how I rode too, like just impulsive.
Yeah, no, I concur with that. Yeah.
Fucking just whatever you felt like doing, you did, and that's what I did too. But even when I had, again, I'm jumping ahead, but when I had Rooftop or the boy in my life, who were probably my biggest pains in my asses, but the truest changing of the guard was those guys from my career, and they just took videoing seriously, and I didn't take any of it seriously. That's why I like Nowhere Fast. I didn't even have anything, and then the S&M videos are horrible. Any of the ones I was in, but even
I thought BMX Inferno was pretty cool. I watched it the other day, and I still think it's pretty cool. It's not as good as 30 Deeds, but it's pretty cool.
For the riders that tried, like Castillo and the boy and.
No, for you, I thought your part was pretty cool.
Oh, good.
I watched your part. I didn't watch the other parts. I was like, I'm gonna watch your part because I knew we was talking this week. So, yeah, I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was cool actually. There's like stuff. When was the last time you watched it?
No.
No, man. Like, if you look at that with like, even at the time, I didn't think it was bad. I still think that's a good part. Maybe it's not as good as it could have been, but it's still a good part. Like, you're riding that pole and stuff, like clack 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 clack. Like, it's good. It's pretty good. Yeah.
I think that's even after I did the Warp Tour and shit. So like, it's kind of a blur. But I know I had a fucked up knee during that time, so I'll use that as the excuse. But there's still good stuff on RL's ramp as well. No, I do remember that because that was about when that ramp was coming down, and then I think by that point, for my journey, I already did a bunch of shit. Like I did the Warp Tour, I did the Hoffman tour, a bunch of other shit. So
yeah. All right, I watched. I freshly just watched that this week, and I thought it was a good part. So
I do think it's a good video for S&M. It was probably their turning point because those other original ones are really, really bad, funny, and then I think the parts are probably Moeller doing those rails. Like my parts were weak, Dave's parts were weak, but then BMX Inferno was definitely the changing of the guard, the next generation of more mid-school guys, and so that's pretty fucking rad for that.
Yeah.
Myself, I never put effort into anything, and then like for that video, Dave Parrick did that one. Like I said, for Dirty Deeds, he just put the camera on and just let me be. By the time BMX Inferno was happening, that's when he was getting serious and like actually telling people, "Hey, can you do that one more time? Hey, do this one." And for me, I didn't, again, like the Galley effect. I wanted to just have fun. I wanted to ride. I wasn't caring about that stuff. And full transparency, totally honest. By the time I was in magazines and stuff, I just didn't appreciate it anymore. I just thought like, whatever. And I'm in a magazine or a video. Who cares? I'm gonna be dead when I'm 30.
Yeah.
No.
I think that was like, for the people that came through that time period, it was very much like that for people of our age, I think. Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh, whatever. Didn't really care about it at all.
Yeah. Like, what's the backyard one called? Behold the Wonders?
Yeah.
Like that part, I don't mind it either. I thought it was okay. It was to some cool music. But back to BMX Inferno, I'm riding to that handicap punk band.
Yeah.
The kids from Whitney High.
I wanted to ask you, how did you end up with that?
All right. True story, at least the way I remember it. We were at a bar one night, and I was taking a piss. And we were supposed to see some punk bands. And I hear this band playing, and I'm like, this band sucks. What the fuck is this? And I'm taking a piss. I'm going, they sound like they're fucking retards. What the fuck? And I fucking ran outside, and, like, mind you, I'm into music. So I run up to the stage, and there's these handicapped kids, and I was like, and Parrick, and I think Moeller saw my reaction and just thought it was hilarious. And I saw the kids, and I looked up at them, and I went, oh, fuck. They really are handicapped. And so I had no say in any of that video, so I'm going to assume it was probably because of that reaction, and I'm slightly a retard. So forgive the politically incorrectness of it all.
Oh, no worries. And the Dirty Deeds thing, like, are you living at the POW house at this point?
The boys' house.
The boys' house. Okay. Did you live at the POW house?
No, I stayed there mostly.
Okay.
My first time getting arrested was there. Lots of.
All right.
First time doing mushrooms was there. Like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess you'd expect that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I met you at Huntington House, right?
Go on. Sorry.
I met you, or not met you. I met you at Backyard, but you were staying at the Huntington Beach house, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But Dirty Deeds was the year before. I think Dirty Deeds was 94, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And what? So you said that Parrick just pointed the camera and just documented that stuff, natural riding sessions.
Yeah, he just filmed it and just, for me, he just let me ride. And like, I used to drink a lot with him and hang out at night. So we'd end up drunk at like the trail sessions and shit. And which was another thing that I kind of took to. I got pretty good at trail riding and stuff. So he'd just go and film and stuff. And sometimes, like, do you remember the interview I had in Ride magazine called White Trash?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
This is a funny story. So I was living in Oklahoma with the Hoffman guys at the time when that interview came out, and it was titled White Trash for various reasons, but it was pretty fucking funny. There was some cool clips in that though, and so Dave would be at those photo sessions with Brad McDonald, and he'd film those as well.
Okay.
So like that's how I would get some better footage, and the White Trash interview, it had some pretty cool things, and it had RL's ramp, had Moreno Valley, and a few other things, but like a couple months later, Jay Miron had an interview, and it was in Ride, and I was in Oklahoma when he was doing his interview. It was when he had those green fucking spoke covers on his fucking
I remember, yeah.
The cover was, he was doing a tail up, I think. But Jay is Jay. I am not in that level of riding. And he gets the issue, and he comes over to me, and I think I was working in the warehouse at Hoffman at the time. He's like, Treanor, eh? Got 7 pages. Yours was 6. And I was like, well, you deserve it. I don't. Is yours called White Trash?
Excellent.
Yeah. Treanor, eh?
Well, one of the things I most liked about that Dirty Deeds part was the stuff in the Vegas the Vegas contest. Like, so most people probably say like POW stuff, but when I was watching it the other day, that's one of my favourite clips in that video. Is actually I watched how like on edge a lot of them tricks you were doing were over that hip, and then like the 540 off the quarter into like the tight wall just looked like it should not have been pulled. I don't quite know how you rode out of that. Was that a one hit?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Everything was one hit. That was another way I rode too. Again, I have to say it's kind of like Jerry, and just that few months that I got to tour with Jerry made me identify with each other quite a lot, and like the way we adapted to each other. But his riding, I love it. He's by far better than I ever could have imagined for myself. He's way better, but I just felt like I was a little bit like it. So like when I had that part in the Hold the Wonders, and then his part went after mine, I was like, wow, it's so cool that I'm right there with him. Yeah. And then, like a year later, we're on the Hoffman tour together. That's a funny story all by itself. And then that's kind of how I rode. So like even when, the few weeks that Stu took us around while I was in England that first time, and everywhere we went, I was with Galley.
Yeah.
So it was just fucking amazing. And then again, fast forward to where we were on tour together. But like, that's how I rode. I just, that Vegas thing that you're talking about, that's kind of around the time where I've said it a couple of times now. I had about 2 years where I pulled anything I thought of. And
okay.
And I rode everything, dude. I rode dirt, vert, street, that. And I pulled anything and I could think of and do it with my own little snap, like you said.
Yeah.
That contest, because I didn't ride that contest. That's just riding.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I just thought that was in the contest. Yeah, you was on fire on that one. Yeah,
that was post. I turned pro. I turned pro at a Hoffman series. I think we already went to England, and then
it was 93. You came here.
Yeah, and then there was that event, and that's rooftop road, Pova road, everybody rode, and like I already rode pro, and they didn't have a pro class. I don't think it was just like an expert thing. And Moeller was there, Vic Murphy was there. Vic Murphy always bugged me, man, because he was pro, and then he started riding expert classes. You're not expert anymore. You don't go backwards. So I didn't ride, but I rode, and I rode pretty okay, and Dave filmed all that stuff. But I remember after leaving that, and I was in the van with Chris and everybody, and Chris was like, I don't know what the deal was, dude, but every time you rode, everybody stopped. And I was like, oh man, are you complimenting me? I don't know what to make of that one. And then it was like 2 weeks later when he presented the menstrual cycle idea.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like,
cool.
Now I get it. So you were complimenting me. Your gears were turning on how to make money out of that. And fuck.
All right. Well, before we get to the menstrual bit, let me just give us the story of coming to the UK. I know you briefly touched on it there, but like, how did that come about? You've seen the Backyard Jam, obviously.
Yeah.
One before or two before, whatever. So
I had no plan of ever going to England. So, what happened? I'm on S&M. I did pretty good at some of the Hoffman BS comps as an expert. I think I won like 2 of them or something. And then it was all on me that I decided to turn pro. I was at Shimerville comp, Pennsylvania, and I don't know what got over me. I decided I was going to turn pro there, and I did okay. And then it was like 3 or 4 months later when some opportunity came up for Chris to go to England. And again, this contest, they didn't pay my way for stuff. Like, I think on that one, the boy's mom paid for a rental van for us because the boy was there. So we all drove from Cali to go ride. It was like me, the boy, Chris Sales, Hippie J, and a couple other people. So we went to that comp and then, just made road trips out of everything. And then I get back to Cali, and from what I kind of remember, I remember Chris saying, hey, you want to go to England? And I was like, I don't even have a passport. So, and of course I did know what backyard jams were and everything from McCoy and Fuzzy going to the first one.
Okay.
So yeah, long story short, this is a funny fucking story too. Whoever listens to this is going to think that guy's crazy. I went to the LA because back in Cali in that time you had to go to LA for your passport, and I didn't have a car. I didn't have a driver's license. By the way, I went on road trips with no driver's license, and rented cars back then. But I went to LA with magazines and used those as my identification.
No way.
I got my passport to go to England with magazine photos. Think about
nuts.
that.
Yeah, no, that doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't even sound real now. Like, yeah.
And so I got my passport. Chris was like, "Hey, I didn't really understand how it was all working. I didn't understand even Stu being a distributor and stuff like that. So basically, I was like, yeah, I'll go to England. Fuck it, just be cool." And the day of the trip, I was meeting Chris at LAX, and he pops up late. We go to the counter. This is my first time traveling international too. It's probably only my fourth time on a plane. And so we get to the thing, I get cleared, and then he comes up behind me, and they're like, "Your passport's expired." and typical Chris fashion, "No, it isn't. Oh. We can't let you in."
No way.
He had to leave. He had to leave, and he's like, "Go ahead, get on the plane." And like, again, I don't have a job, I don't have money, and I had $50 that the boy's mom gave me.
Wow.
It's
bad exchange as well, coming to the UK back then.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And I had been on one significant trip with Chris once before, and I was like, oh, man, please. So he went home, got the passport sorted, and he ended up in Hastings like a day or two later. So I'd already been there a little bit. Like, he might have made it on the mini ramp day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was on that day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd already been there like a day and a half or something. So thankfully, Stu was tremendous, treated me really, really well the whole time, and then when because that was where I was first seeing Jerry ride, which I never could believe someone could air a mini ramp like that. And then I'm meeting all you guys and seeing all these different things, and just the overwhelming bit of it all, and then getting real tight with Ian and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and by that point, I already knew Alex really well. But yeah, I gravitated towards Ian and Jerry and all that stuff. And then just again, Stu being phenomenal, taking everybody around and stuff. And he pretty much covered most everything for me, because I went through that pretty quick. I only been drinking.
How long was you here for? Like a week or something?
No, two and a half weeks. And,
oh wow!
And and that funny. I don't know if you ever heard the funny story with Ian and myself, which started with at the Chasm jump. So I remember we all rode that shitty tabletop, like
with no lip. Yeah. No lip on that jump at all.
I think my best move was a half-ass turn down 360, and then I went in the van, in Stu's van with Ian, to drink some ciders, and I remember being fascinated by ciders because I never had them before, and I only started drinking like 6 months before that. So I was with Ian. Chris is doing the fucking Chasm. I thought I was done, and Ian turns to me and goes, "Do you hear that? I want them to shout my name like that." Typical Ian. But I'm getting to know Ian now at that time. And he jumps out of the van, gets his fucking helmet, and I'm like, how the fuck is that redheaded midget going to get across that fucking thing? And so then I jumped out of the van. I was like, all right, fuck it. And
because you tried to jump the jump as well, right?
Yeah, I made it across. I just clipped my back wheel. And then when Moeller crashed, his crash, and you remember he did the Evel Knievel speech.
Yeah.
I was standing right behind him, and as he did that speech, I was laughing because I knew what it was. And then he did the thing, drops the mic, and then he realizes I'm standing there. this might have been the first time I even interacted with Chris in the couple of days. And so he just turns to me and he's like, I'm going to get in that ambulance over there.
No way.
I went, all right, see you later. And he, if I remember correctly, he thought he heard his spleen. So he went and he left in that ambulance, and that was the last time I saw him. He went to Belfast with Will Smith and everybody.
Oh, no way.
So I'm ditched with Stu.
You're stuck in Hastings, right?
Yeah, well, and then that's when Stu started taking us all around. Took us to Oxford, Northampton.
Rom? Did you go to Rom?
Yep. And then I guess everywhere we went.
Leon C, I think you guys went as well, right?
Yeah. We rode Northampton and like rode pretty well there. That Bestwick was there at that one, and then every night was at the Crip at the bar.
Awesome.
That's where Ian and I had the bet going of there was a girl there that had big tits, and they were calling tits Baps.
Baps, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, Keith, you reckon we have a wager on who gets the one with the biggest Baps first?
Oh, excellent. So that was a good trip, right? You met like that contest was huge. That was like the big blow up. Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think I appreciated it still just yet about the impact of England to my life of BMX, you know?
Okay.
Because I still had a lot more after that. Like eventually I went on road trips with Matt, John, and Ian. Then I was on that trip with Ian, Galley, and so on, you know? And then even in my shit years where I was all fucked up, I'd bump into like Stephen Murray or Alistair and stuff, and those guys would be like, "You meant a lot to us when we were growing up," type stuff, and I was like, "Wow, cool," you know.
Yeah.
Still didn't hit as much as it did when I got older. When I looked back at it, oh, fuck yeah.
good English connection.
Yeah.
Then, so then if you jump forward again, back to where we was before we went into that little English bit.
Yep.
That's when Menstrual Cycles started coming round.
Yep.
So post Backyard is obviously Dirty Deeds and stuff, and then after that Vegas contest is when that's 94. Is that when Menstrual Cycles starts getting sort of brought up?
The idea of it, yeah. And then I think the first, they're in Ride magazine. I don't remember what year it was, but I have a little article about the prototype of Menstrual, and then because again I was in the magazines a lot, and it really now that I understand BMX industry and I understand marketing and stuff, like now it makes sense. Chris had an easy guy to put out there who was always out there, doesn't cost anything, and I did make a fast impact, but I know he was surprised by, and so was I. And then I'm always open about this. I'm the one that fucked it all up. I did not put any proper effort into any of it. And quite frankly, I was probably a dick about it because I didn't understand it. I didn't appreciate it. But it always was meant to be, like when you presented it to me and he said menstrual cycles, he's like, well, you're always bleeding at least a full week of a month.
Yeah, that's what I remember that story when I was there. Yeah, that was one of the things why it was called it. Yeah,
and you know,
who come up with like the look of the bike and the angles and stuff? Was that you?
Pova.
Oh, Pova, yeah. Oh, no way.
That's why it's got a heavy. I hated that frame actually.
Oh, really?
Because it wasn't versatile. It sucked on trails. It sucked to bunny hop. I mean, back then I used to be able to bunny hop picnic tables. But John kind of made it lower bottom bracket, a little bit longer to ride more of a vert style. And then the VDC head tube was because everybody was ripping their head tubes off their bikes back then. And he thought, well, let's bring that back from VDC, which when we were kids. And John was much more intelligent than I am. So he thought of that and thought maybe no one really would remember it. And it would be a stronger head tube. And then the only things that I really wanted, and I always was this way, I wanted a lighter frame. I wanted a lighter frame, and I always felt if I had a lighter bike, it would make certain things easier. and I always felt steeper head tubes because the CW California Flyer, I think, had a 75 head angle. And I was all like, 75 would be perfect. We didn't end up making Menstrual at 75, but I think that was like 73 or even 72, which was horrible. But my philosophy on the steep head angle was for bar spins. I thought, well, if it was a steeper head angle, I could spin the bars.
Yeah, spin bars, yeah, easier, yeah.
Yeah, and tail ups, and I would explain that to John and Chris, and they thought I was fucking nuts. And then the lighter frame, I just thought, well, that will I can maneuver the bike easier. And I hated the dropouts on that bike, but it was the heaviest fuck dropouts.
Yeah.
And I think initially Chris really would have wanted John or myself to ride the heaviest fuck frames. But they were just horrible. They were disgusting. I rode a prototype one when I lived in Oklahoma, and I used to try to ride it on the Ninja ramp. Remember Matt's Ninja ramp?
Yeah.
Like, that is the easiest ramp in the world to ride. Anybody could do 10-foot airs on that fucking thing. That bike was like crooked and weird and dragging. So I was like, no, I don't like standing platforms.
Me neither, yeah.
I never really liked the freestyle look. I like the Challenger frame. I've always liked wishbone rear ends and just light looks and light feels, which obviously that's what became of, Ruben gets credit for, or Taj.
Yeah.
Or racer style bikes. I always was influenced by that because of Chris or Dave and the racers I rode with. So I rode slam bars and all that stuff. But I always liked the dirt bike. It was just a basic looking frame. And the Menstrual just kind of was over the top. But it was fine. I understood, like, it'd be cool for the marketing of it. The fucking name is hilarious. Then when you helped me with the graphics, that was my white trash moment of life, because it wasn't. That was
that was that comic book that we copied. I copied the comic. You was like, yeah, draw that.
Yeah.
And I copied the comic book and I think before that there was a T-shirt, wasn't there? And it was like a cartoon or a line drawing of you.
Do you know the story of that one?
No, but I remember, like, I think Mola maybe gave me one when I was there, and it was purple, and I was like, oh, what the and I was just like, oh, no one's going to wear this shirt. Like, it was really bad.
Yeah.
No, I'd not seen it. Like, bear in mind, like, I was staying there, and I obviously was living and breathing BMX, and I've never seen that, at all. And then here it comes. But yeah, go on, give us the story of that.
I mean, I'm an easy target. I'm an easy target to make fun of. And like back then, the true story too, to my version, I was living in Oklahoma. I lived in Oklahoma quite a bit. I'd bounce back and forth. I fully started living in Oklahoma because I became real good friends with Matt and the crew there. And I moved there thinking that was going to better my riding. 100%. I truly believed that. Those guys never fucking rode. and we all partied a lot. Some of the funnest times of my life, beautiful human beings, but we didn't ride our bikes. So one of the Hoffman comps came up there in Oklahoma City, and I got a box sent to the warehouse. And Chris said, hey, I'm going to guess, because I never really made money from S&M. It was always just if I did demos or whatever. So he sent me a box to sell some shirts, and it was the beginning of Menstrual Cycles. And what's the best way to market? A fucking T-shirt. And not everybody knew that we were going to be doing this just yet. So I got those shirts, and they were like purple, lavender, lavender is purple, like pink, whatever. Everything that didn't reflect me on my style. And like I was already wearing all black a lot back then.
Yeah.
And everybody knew I was into hardcore metal, which that used to be made a joke too, was because I'm into Slayer and everyone's into crappy punk rock like all.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's pussy music. but which I like all. But anyways, I get these shirts, and it turns out Paul Green, if you remember Paul Green, he was
I remember. Yeah,
he passed away. He was in his early stages of learning how to do tattoos, which I don't know if you've ever even got good at, but it was supposed to be a cartoon figure of my face and my fucking...
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I had an eye ring and earrings and shit. So it was my fucked up face with my fucked up head. And because I had staples from a bad car accident too, so I think those are in the drawing. and then it says menstrual cycles and whatever.
Yeah, like a circle.
Yeah, it's really funny now. I have one at work. It's funny now, man. But when I got that, and it was probably like 50 shirts, and I was like, and he told me a breakdown of how to sell them and what to make money on, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So I gave them away. I gave them all away. I just walked around going, hey, this is some funny thing that I'm doing with S&M and whatever. I didn't make any money on them, and I was really, really embarrassed. And then I guess they heard about that, and they were pretty bummed out that I did that. But I was like, man, that's not at all. I get the menstrual cycle because that's really, really funny. But now it's going a little too far. And not that I take myself seriously, because I don't. And then obviously where everything else in my life went was pathetic. But like I was still trying to, like the comic thing, and like what I'm saying about how I wanted the frame to be a little lighter than what was currently on the market and things like that. I'm not trying to sound like I'm a fucking pioneer, but let's put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah. Let's put your ideas in. Yeah, no, that's what. Yeah.
You know, like
that is the idea ultimately, right? Like,
yeah, and like, you know, in Dirty Deeds I ride to Slayer, in the S&M video I ride to kids from Whitney High. So again, it's like, why am I the butt of the jokes? You know, and like I can guarantee you, when I see Chris again, if he ever listens to this, he's going to be defensive of, oh, we didn't do that. Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, and
I think a lot of people got that treatment though. To be fair to those guys.
No, totally, and there's no ill will, and Chris is ill right now, and I wish the best. So
yeah,
but yeah, I often was the butt of jokes, and a lot of it too was probably keep my ego in check too. You know.
Yeah, I mean that to be like, and also to be fair, that T-shirt was terrible. Like there's no way. Like if I've got a box of them shirts, like you say, maybe back then I took myself very seriously, but like if I got them shirts, I'd be like, there's no way I'm going to show people this shirt. Like it was bad. Yeah. And then somehow we ended up that the frame was due to come out right when I was actually in California, and I can't remember how I ended up doing those graphics, but somehow
we were talking.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you and I just bonded on music.
Yeah. Well, we was kind of. I was going to the boys. I think I was. We bonded on a few little pieces, and then we went to that gig, and that probably made a bit of an impact, and then like from there it kind of rolled on a bit. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I don't, because I didn't have any pens or anything. I don't know where all the stuff came from or anything, but somehow I ended up doing that graphic. And I don't know if did I ever tell you the lettering was drawn off of the Mouthpiece letter. You know that band Mouthpiece?
Oh, right.
From New Jersey. Like they had a CD, and the lettering is like a copy of the lettering that was on their CD cover.
Yeah,
but you changed the colour. He was like, yeah, but do that green, like, and it was all redrawn. It was cool, man. We did that in the kitchen of the HB house
because it was reflecting our style too. Because
exactly, yeah.
We were into black bikes. We were into army pants, and I liked the army colorway. So I was trying to incorporate those things with the humor of menstrual cycles, and also my joke, like the white trash thing came from me living with the boys' family and their sister and shit. She was young, and they were, that kind of shit, and that's where those jokes came from. So I ran with it. That's fine. I look back at some of it, and like that interview in particular, when I did the Sprocket Jockey tour, I made like say $10,000 for the summer, and Jerry made some money as well, but I was using the money to buy my mom a trailer. My mom wanted to live in a trailer in the Poconos up in Pennsylvania, and she was really, really ill by this point. But the goal was to buy her this trailer. She had an idea. She said she can get a trailer for like $9,000 or something. So I talk about that in that interview. John Paul thought that was the most trashiest thing he's ever heard. You're going to buy your mom a trailer?
Oh, God.
Yeah, but he's a very wealthy silver spoon kind of guy. comes from a good middle class family. So all these guys, Alex, when he used to make fun of me, they all come from a comfortable life. They'll never fucking know what it was like to live like I did. Yeah. And then, if they hear any of this now, they'll just be, oh, he's a pussy. Well, I'm not a pussy. I could kick your fucking ass. But that being said, I did have a crazy up time. And when I was going to do that thing for my mom, like I was with Hoffman during that. And the irony of my mom dying, she died on the Sprocket Jockey Tour. So she never even got to see that interview. Okay. And the full culmination of everything in my weird journey, even up to that point, was Dirty Deeds came out, the interview came out. I was on the Sprocket Jockey Tour with fucking Matt Hoffman, Dennis McCoy, Jay Miron, and Jerry Galley. Like, what more could you even dream of? And then I'm getting my own signature frame from S&M. So it's just like this crazy story that like, even if my mom was alive to finally see it, she wouldn't have understood it. It wouldn't have meant shit because it's not money, you know what I mean? But it all happened in that time. And the week that she passed while we were on Sprocket, Jerry was there. She passed away. And it was ironically like on the couple of anniversaries of Matt's mom dying. So we were together for that. So my mom died on like the same day, just a few years later, of his mom. And we were really close to each other at the time. But the last people my mom saw was Matt Hoffman, Jay Miron, and Jerry Galley. And Matt's wife, AC. And she had a trach, so she couldn't talk. And she looks up at Matt and immediately goes, I know you. I know you. And it was like a relief in her face. She was like, wow, my kid made it. This is what he wanted to do. Yeah. He's not a fucking truck driver. He made it at whatever the hell this is he's doing. And, for me, it still wasn't settling in yet. But again, the true story, dude, was by the time I met you to get those graphics going, all that already happened. Yeah. And, I just started to kind of give up on shit. Like, no sob story, because, again, I made my own fucking choices. But it is the truth. That's the story of my version of life. Yeah.
That's a lot that's it. You were still a young guy though at that point. That's a lot. There's a lot going on there, right?
Yeah, I was 23, and again, I grew up
23,
23 or 24. But it was a bit. But obviously now, look, 54 years old. All of our friends, yourself, everyone's going through something now, right? Yeah. So that's why when like Chris got sick, I was like, well, my mom died of cancer, my father died of cancer, my wife had breast cancer. Fuck, I know what it's like, dude. So at least now we can like kind of, hey man, I do care. I hope you're gonna make it through this.
Yeah, of course.
When you're young, you don't fucking know shit.
No, that's what I mean. Like you're 20. I think you was 23. I would have guessed because I think I was 22 or 23. So yeah, like you would have been a same age, I think. So wow, yeah. So like. That's good. You can't. I didn't know that about like you put the serious with the humorous on the stickers for the frame. That's like that was cool, man. I didn't have that foresight. I don't think you were just like draw this and then draw that, and then they come out and I thought they looked really good on the frames, like because you had the top tube sticker, which not many people had at that point in time.
Yeah, I was always
just the cartoon. Yeah.
Skateboards. I wanted graphics.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bikes didn't really have graphics at the time. It was just kind of stale. You either had an S&M dirt bike, a Holmes, or a standard, and it was all kind of stale. The dirt bike graphics were always really cool, and some of the Holmes stuff, but they weren't as elaborate as that. And so I wanted that comic books, which we were into, and so that and I'm not sure if I ever said that, but the one drunk guy standing behind the trailer. That trailer, and why I was fascinated, it was kind of an homage to my mom, the trailer I wanted for my mom. Yeah. And then, like, again, back to that interview, that was made, that turned into this white trash humor of things. That's not exactly what I meant it to sound like, but, you give it to young guys that love to insult and make fun of people and don't understand what that struggle was. Well, this is fucking funny. And it was. It really was funny. My story is fucking bizarre. But at the same time, when it came to the BMX stuff and kind of how my riding reflected, it reflected skateboarding quite a bit. And then I have this frame now, so I wanted it to be a little bit of mixture of hardcore, reflect freestyle, so it kind of had an identity a little bit outside of the normal S&M stuff. Still using the S&M shield because that's the greatest logo ever.
Yeah.
You know, Chris had presented it to me with a possibility of making that my own company.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I heard. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like obviously I didn't take any advantage of it. There's an ongoing joke that I still get hit with now. I was apparently stickering those frames at S&M, and I was standing next to Timmy Ball, and I thought I said it in a humble way, but I'm sure it didn't come across that way. But I had said, "Hey man, I don't know why I'm here stickering these frames. I should be out riding," and I meant it as because I think it was a demo or whatever the fuck. But I meant it like that, not like I'm above the fucking job.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And so for years, I used to get insulted for that, and my own doing, I deserved it. That's not what I meant. I meant it like I'd rather be riding than stickering these frames. But also at the same time, I didn't realize like, well, this is a part of that. That's part of the job. I should be treating that like that. I didn't put it all together, you know?
Yeah. Was you over that like? When that came, well, you had a knee injury as well, though, right? Around this point, was that before or after this, or during?
The knee injury came at during BMX Inferno.
Okay.
Ice pick bar spin. I missed the bar or whatever on the S&M mini ramp, and I ended up doing a split, and it blew out my MCL. And that was my first, because I already had a torn rotator, a bunch of other injuries. None of that affected me the way that did. That psychologically fucked me up. And
I remember. I was there. I think I was still in California when this happened. Yeah.
It took a long time to heal. And so that was my first real mind fuck.
Yeah.
From an injury, you know what I mean? And plus, I think, I was getting heavy into drinking and meeting different people and stuff. I just did so much so fast, man. Because I think after I met you, so it was I not met you or spent the time on that time. I ended up doing the Warp Tour that following summer. So I was the vert rider on the fucking Warp Tour. That was the first Warp Tour.
What was that? 96?
95.
95.
Yeah, it was.
That was the same year then. Yeah.
And it was the summertime. So you were over during.
Yeah, I was in spring. Yeah. I left in May. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I ended up. The irony of that one, I was walking through a club in Huntington, and I bumped into Angie Walton, Jess Derenforth's wife at the time.
Oh, no way.
She did Daily Bread Rollerblade magazine. And she's like, "Hey, I got some demos coming up," because I had done demos with her before, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm down." Next thing you know, it was like 2 weeks later, I'm on a tour bus for the Warp Tour.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and I was on the bus out. Actually, you'd be stoked on this. They bounced me around at different buses all the time. I was supposed to be on the bus with the skaters, but they didn't like my bike. They didn't like the bike being, they were dicks. But but all the bands, No Doubt was there before No Doubt became popular. So I ended up, my bus mates was fucking Orange 9mm.
Oh, no way.
Orange 9mm. But the bus mates of theirs was Sublime.
Okay.
So it was fucking wild, and I'm a huge fan of Burn. And then
same.
Now it's Orange 9, and I got to know Chaka. I follow Chaka on Instagram, but they don't party. They were straight edge. They were New York hardcore that I fucking love.
Yeah.
But I was getting loose with the Sublime guys. I was doing fucking coke, all kinds of shit with those dudes. Who later on I became friends with those guys. But anyways, that was a wild tour, and that was only like 2 weeks after my sister got stabbed multiple times. So I was just kind of in a crazy frame of mind. But yeah, that was a good tour. Again, the point of that though was all this crazy stuff happened so quickly in just like 3 years,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a shitload going on there. Like heavy stuff as well to take as a young. Not really. Yeah, I wouldn't. Now looking back, I wouldn't even say he was a young man. I'd say he's still just fresh out your teens, really, and you're 22. Like,
Compared to today's standards,
yeah.
Nobody fucking grows up anymore. But
Yeah.
I look back at it and think I was just being really immature. But like in reality, there was just so much, all the positives with the negatives. I mean, we can go from getting to meet everybody at that GT story in '89 to 1995, which is still relatively a small amount of time.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Everything that went in between.
Yeah, how fast everything moved, like.
Yeah. I wouldn't change a thing, to be honest. I'm stoked on a little bit. I wouldn't be doing the interview with you now, right? But,
yeah.
And like I make it out like Chris or somebody are these evil people. They're not. They were kids too.
Yeah, exactly. Kids, yeah.
You know, growing up with the way they grew up, not knowing how to adjust to some weirdo from fucking New Jersey. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So,
yeah.
No ill will towards anyone, and all of the mistakes are my fucking fault. No one forced any beer or drugs down my throat.
Yeah, you can you can't only go through this life with the experiences you know. So like you say, nobody knows what else is happening with someone else today. So
yeah, and I mean nowadays it's more than ever.
Yeah,
everybody's going through something somehow, like right now. You know what I mean? So I think that's also why I like to keep to myself. Maybe you're similar, you know, just kind of avoid the dramas.
Yeah, try to. Yeah. And how long, did menstrual last?
I mean, I felt like it was in prototype stages for years. But let's say it was kicked off at 95, and it was probably done by 96, maybe even 97.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Because I know he had it at a trade show once, and I think I showed up drunk and got kicked out. But I think he had it on display at one of the trade shows. I mean, my whole goal was I was going to make a team too. Like I was going to have Josh Hino, Chris Hallman, the boy, and McKinney. I eventually wanted to make a flatland frame. McKinney wasn't at S&M yet. And like a couple other people I was looking at to try and ride them. I think even yourself and of course Pova. But I think Ian rode one. And
Ian had one, yeah.
Yeah, and they were shitty. They weren't very good frames.
I liked mine. I thought it was cool.
I didn't like it.
I liked mine, yeah.
Yeah. Because the cover of Ride, by the time I did that cover of Ride, Menstrual was already kind of done, and I'm on the cover of Ride. It's actually a blue dirt bike that I rode all the time, spray painted black.
What, that cover shot of you, was it at Kelly's?
Kelly's Bowl, yeah, Kelly Belmar.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So how did that come about? Like, because there's not many people that have ridden that bowl, surely.
There was no bikes ever at that point. I think it was Pova may have knew them, and then Chris may have knew them too. Because I think that the bowl, Chickens Bowl, and then Kelly's, one of them used to do print T-shirts and stuff.
That's right, yeah.
And maybe S&M got shirts done if I remember. So yeah, the day of that bowl shoot, I think Chris arranged it to do the shoot with Brad McDonald, and then maybe Menstrual was still around. I don't know, but I know I was riding a dirt bike at the time, and I had already ridden a couple of Menstruals, I think, up to that point. But Fids was there. Fids was there that day. It was
okay. So that would have been that would have been 95. Yeah, like. If Fids was there, I assume it was because Fids stayed, I came home, Fids stayed, so it was probably that point.
I got knocked out that day, and I remember because that bowl only had a roll into it.
Yeah, I remember it, yeah.
And, for some reason, I could still go a little bit high on stuff, so I think I went like 6 feet or so, which would have been a lot for that bowl. And Brad shot the photos, and in one of them, I think I caught my shorts in the and I had a full-face helmet on. But I caught my grip in the shorts, and then just went straight to flat bottom and got like knocked out or something. And I think it was Fids and Chris that got me out of the bowl.
Oh, wow.
And then, then I got the cover. I asked Brad, I said, that's not the one I crashed, is it?
Or did he say if it was or not? No?
He says it wasn't, but I was like, all
Well,
right.
gnarly. And I wanted to ask you about how did you end up on Airwalk, and it seemed like you was on Airwalk, UGP, and Base all at the same time.
And Step.
And Step was what Step? Something to do with bass?
Well, it was Ted Nelson, I think his name was. So bass and step were like more so racer guys. They all kind of came up with Brian Foster, Chris, Dave Clymer, and everybody. So the kind of the outcast racers.
Yeah.
They made T-shirts. Step made some T-shirts, and their logos were like kind of tag style, old graffiti-ish style, like kind of cool East Coast style. And then UGP would have came because I was friends with Ron, and then Ron built his company up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, like even with him, I had like 4 or 5 signature stickers. Like my stickers were always too. The one you showed me, the beer goggle.
Yeah, I got a couple. Yeah.
The fucking beer goggle. Like I deserve that. So the beer goggle sticker. One was a Band-Aid. So I was always fucking hurt. One was a bottle cap or something, or a beer tab. So yeah, my stickers were funny. And then so yeah, I always was always a part of UGP. I even worked at UGP in 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that's actually the last time I really rode hard. Well, not hard because when I had Colony, I rode a lot. 2001, I was still drinking and getting tweaked, but I worked at UGP in Orlando, and then I got an opportunity to do some demos at Universal Studios in Florida. So that's kind of the last time I was a paid rider.
All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, back to that bowl and stuff. Like, I don't remember where Menstrual really just ended, and like I think Chris just gave up on trying to.
Out.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's my fault. I didn't do anything that I should have been doing to make it work. And I guess in Boohoo Sob Story, I just was lost. I didn't really have any focus on anything, And by the time 95, 96 came around, Fids is a good example. There was a lot of hungry people coming in. Fids was hungry as fuck. The Boy, Rooftop, Brian Castillo, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of felt like I was like, how do I get better than these guys, or do I even want to?
Yeah. So you kind of lost your appetite for it a little bit.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed drinking and girls and nonsense like that, And I'm, like I said earlier, I'm attention deficit for sure, but I'm obsessive. So if I'm into it, I'm gonna be into it. You know what I mean?
You're going, yeah.
And so yeah, I think I was just chasing other things by that point.
And how did you did you move back east at some point as well?
Not until 2000. Not until 2000.
Okay.
I was pretty fucking a mess by then, and like I had been through some relationships and shit. And for the most part, California wanted nothing to do with me because I was a fucking drunken bum. So if I would hang out with like the Huntington Beach guys or something, everybody had jobs already, like the S&M crew, S&M, and Troy McMurray was making money riding, and McKinney was doing his things now at that point. Pova was doing his things. So I already fucking burned my bridges, so to speak, or just kind of outlived my 5 minutes. So by the time early 2000s came around, I ended up back in New Jersey, and that's really where I started to fuck up really, really bad. And it actually was 2000 where I ended up in Florida with some friends.
Okay.
With some friends I grew up with that would not bike riders or skaters, and they were doing all the wrong things. True story, and Ron won't hate me for telling this. I was staying at this fucking heroin house in Tampa, and it was a wild scene. And I didn't do heroin yet, but I was still getting pretty drunk and tweaked on anything else. I called Ron, and I was like, hey, Ron, man, can you come get me? And I was explaining the situation. It's stuff that you'd see in movies. And then he came, he got me, man. It was like a 3-hour fucking drive for him to come get me. And he came, got me. Next day, he put me straight to work in the warehouse at UGP. He was trying to help me get my life in order. And then I got a call from Hoffman to go do those shows at Universal Studios. So that's what I did. And somehow I managed to stay on that gig and ride those demos every day and stuff. And those were wild. Those were like 3 to 6 shows a day, with like 3,000 people watching it and shit. Dave Brumlow, myself, Mike Andrews, a bunch of skateboarders and shit. But anyways, I did it. I survived it. I ended up back in Cali with some money in my pocket. I don't remember most of that year. Sean McKinney remembers some of it, but yeah, it was weird. It was wild. And then I ended up back in Florida for some more of those demos. I got fired. The show promoter was actually Charlie Brown, Charles Schultz, the creator of Charlie Brown. It was his daughter. She was the show promoter.
Okay.
She's like, Keith, we got to let you go. You're a little too drunk, a little too crazy.
Wow.
Would you like us to put you in Betty Ford? And I'm like, fuck no, I'm not Robert Downey Jr. Give me my money.
No way.
Yep. And then from there, it was only like 5 months later, I was completely homeless, living under a bridge in New Jersey. So,
wow.
Yeah. So you couldn't get any worse from like, woo. And I also kept getting arrested and shit and just dumb shit.
How long did you live under a bridge? Like what was the steps out like?
Well, I was probably homeless, but bouncing around from place to place in Cali because I left Florida, went back to New Jersey, then back to Cali like twice, always on a fucking bus too. But when I finally made it back to New Jersey on the last bit, I literally came out of Orange County Jail and got right onto a bus back to New York. And so I was homeless for about 7 months living under this bridge by Jersey City, almost where Animal was at one point.
Okay.
And I actually hung out with some of the kids that rode for Animal at the time. Like, they'd buy me beer and shit, not knowing anything about anything.
Yeah. Okay.
This crazy fucking dude bumming beer off people. Vinny and Edwin, when I would bump into them, they knew, but I also made had a falling out with them and stuff too. But all that was happening, so that's 2001, I guess. And then winter was coming in New Jersey, and like all I had was a couple of clothes that I had hidden in the trees where I was sleeping. And I went to my sister's Spanish, or she's like half Puerto Rican or whatever. So her family friends were all addicts and things. And they were like, go into the Salvation Army program down by they called it the Sally. And at least you can get some food and whatever. So I went there, dude, completely thinking I was just hiding out for the winter. That's all.
Yeah.
I went in to, enrolled, and like the next day, being that I'm primarily an alcoholic, they didn't make me detox. They just put me straight to work. So the day before, like, I would drink every day to black out. And so the day before I went to the Sally, I had my last beer was called the Steel Reserve. I drank that. And then the next morning, I went out and walked to the Salvation Army and checked myself in. So by the next morning, they put you to work. You go straight to work. You're on the truck doing the moving bullshit and all that stuff. And like their program is in order to live there, you got to work 40 hours a week. You have to go to the local welfare office to get welfare, food stamps, and whatever else. But you have to give it to them. You're not allowed to use it yourself.
Okay.
It's a fucking racket. And you work 40 hours a week with no pay. They consider the room and which is just a bunk in a dorm with a bunch of other degenerates, or in this case, there was a lot of drug dealers that would stay there because they were trying to skip out on the fucking stuff and say they were addicts. So anyways, they give you the room, you got to work. You eventually start earning some money with them, and which caps out at $15 a week. And so anyways, after like a month, they ask you if you want to like get an HIV test and all these other tests and stuff. So I was like, yeah, you know what? If I'm going to fucking do this and stay here, let me find out. And having had my brother have AIDS, I was like, man, I definitely got it. This was the way I was looking, especially with things that I did. So anyways, I got those tests done. the day the lady, because this is when it took a few days to get your results. The lady, the nurse that did all the testing for all of us, came in and she's like, everybody line up and we'll read off your results to each person. And in my head, I was like, all right, I got $10 in my pocket. She's going to tell me I'm dying. I'm going to the liquor store. So I walked up to her with that in my brain, and she tells me everything was clear, like tuberculosis, HIV. I had nothing. And I was like a little disappointed. I think by this time I'm 32, and the ongoing joke always was that I was going to die at 30, right? So I was like, all right. And I was like, man, I didn't even get that right. But anyways, I was good. So I rode the rest of the winter out, and the more I stayed sober, they make you go to AA. So I went to AA 2 or 3 times a week. I don't really believe in that program, but if you need it, it's good and it's there. So I learned a lot. I did stuff. I eventually even got some jobs working with the Salvation Army, so I started to make some money. I don't know if you remember, but I used to have a really heavy New Jersey accent. And it was there. I had to do different types of phone things and announcements on loudspeakers, and I hated the sound of my fucking voice. So I started to speak a little clearer because I hated how I sounded. I still hate it. By the way, I'm probably not going to watch this podcast. I never listened to. I've done 2 so far, and I've never listened to them.
Well, I hope you listen to this one because it's going to have a lot of good footage in it as well. If you watch it anyway, but
I will because I appreciate.
But sorry, but go
on. So yeah, that's what happened, dude. I got my shit together. Spent that a year. Well, I was in there 1 full year. Completed their program, and then. Got a job with them as a floating store manager. And then those skaters that I talk about, Sanford and Rich, they offered an opportunity for me to come stay with them now. And, they knew I was trying to get my life back in order. And then real quickly, a thing happened where I got into a halfway house. And so the Salvation Army program is Christian. By the way, Slayer God Hates Us All album came out around that time, and I was like, I don't know if I could listen to this album. One of their best albums. But anyways, I go into a Catholic program run by a nun who used to say I was ornery. But that program, if you completed it with 1 year, you had a job outside, good, decent job. You get free room and board, and the only stipulation was you did some counseling. So you met with a psychiatrist and things like that. It's all still a racket. The Catholics and the nun made money out of it, and so on and so on. But it helped. It helped me. It was a decent place to live. I had my own room. And then they matched, I think it was $4,000. If I saved $4,000, they matched $4,000. So I left with like $8,000. And I used that after that year. So 2 years was my sobriety time of getting shit back into normal. I got a bike by that point. Castillo hooked me up with a volume. And so I was jibbing around again and doing my thing with a bike. And then I ended up building an apartment, renovating my friend's attic, Sanford's. So I moved in that. And then things just picked back up. I got my life back in order. I got a real job, bought a new car, and then, almost the same as the story in the beginning where everything was just happening so fast. It kind of did the same thing. I got into jiu-jitsu. I met my wife, things like that. So a horrible fucking story for most, but, I picked myself up, dusted myself off, figured it out on my own, and that's where I got, And then you fast forward to now I've been back in the BMX industry 20 years. Yeah,
that's crazy to think that. That's like you say. That happened such a concentrated. I mean, at the time, it probably seemed like forever, right? When you're living under a bridge for like 7 months or something. And what's like? What do you do? Just drink to black out, wake up the next day, and do the same again,
dude.
How much of a struggle is that? Like mentally.
It was.
Or did you just drink it away?
I just drank, and how do I'm pretty good at just avoiding Well, I used to be, not anymore. I'm a stress case like no other these days. But back then, I just was just avoiding it, getting so fucked up. And if I wasn't blacking out, then I wasn't doing it right. And like, I'd still be able to go down and hang out with the kids that were riding the ledges that were only just a walking distance away. So I'd go hang out with them, dirty as fuck, smelly as fuck. And there was a skate park in Hoboken too, so I'd end up there. So I've never left BMX either. I was still always around it.
Yeah.
And then at that time was when Edwin and everybody was coming up hard. Will Taubin, I used to hang out with Will Taubin at Union Square in New York City. So, you know, and I guess they knew the legends of things, but they also knew I was just a degenerate fucking loser by this point, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I know that left a bad taste in everyone's mouth too, but I've talked to especially Vinny since, and Vinny's like, bro, I've made my own mistakes now. So
yeah,
we've all made a lot of mistakes over the years.
Wow. That's a crazy story though, right? And what was the first job you got back in BMX? Was that Hoffman?
Yep.
Okay.
So I was driving trucks at the time, semi-trucks. I was an over-road truck driver. And the last gig I had doing that was with, remember Hippie J from Sheep Hills?
Yeah.
He built Sheep Hills. And the Dover Cliff Jump. That was Hippie J. So now you fast forward all this time later, I'm sober like 4 years, I think, at this point. I'm sober 24 years, a little over 24 years. And so right around that fourth year, I was living in North Carolina, which another ironic story is I would hang out with Mark Losey sometimes. And I thought I burned every fucking bridge imaginable in BMX. And like, not so much anymore do I worry, but I used to worry about like if I'm going to bump into someone that's going to tell me some crazy fucking thing I did to them. And turns out I did do some stupid things, but it wasn't things that harmed anyone or was something that left bitter resentment towards me. So I had bumped into Mira, and you know I said some crazy shit to Mira at one of the X Games, right as he was becoming Dave Mira, and even I did it to Matt too. But I just called everyone sellouts, and I was just being a fucking drunken jerk. But anyways, I saw Dave, and Dave was like, so you live in North Carolina? I said, nah, I'm in Oklahoma now. I work at Hoffman Bikes. He's like, dude, you should have came down. You could have rode with us. And I was like, oh. I was like, oh, okay. He was a fucking 45 minutes from where I lived.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I became pretty good friends with Mike Laird. So Laird was like, dude, we knew you were around, you could have come hung out. Not to say I would have rode like anybody, but at least I could have fucking hung out with everyone. Maybe that would have lit up. So when Dave said that, I was like, oh, because there's a few pivotal things in my life that he said to me that I'm like, okay. I wouldn't consider him a close friend at all. Dave was Dave.
Yeah.
But I do value that though. Like even talking to you or the two or three people that might listen to this. How amazing is BMX when you get to meet your heroes? You get to maybe be a hero, and then you get to go back full circle to things and like
you know there's not like a lot of activities that parallel like BMX or skate really like there's ones that are similar but they're not nowhere near as like intrinsic and like and tangible so to speak as BMX and skate like what you just said. Like you can just be on the deck with someone that you've like admired for years.
Well, like this interview when this came up between us, like it's important to me to finally talk about England and the impact of England in my life because again it's pretty weird with the magazines, backyard, relationships with you, the influences that I had. We're going to have to go backwards a little here, but I got sort of close to Craig Campbell and Jess Derenforth, and I wouldn't say I was like friends with them. I was definitely friends with Jess, but I did ride with Craig quite a bit at the end of his career. And like I get to look back at that and go, holy fuck. I rode every day with the guy that invented 540 wall rides.
Yeah, and the rest.
you know, and like, yeah, even my relationship with Matt and Jerry,
Yeah.
you know, all those.
Yeah, no, I mean, like Craig invented like way more than what people even realize.
Right.
Like way more. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and
But,
like,
but sorry, go on.
no, that means the fucking world. And again, two British guys. And at that time, I'm riding with Pova, and Alex used to go ride those ramps with us too. I don't know if he rode any days when Craig and Jess were there, but you know. And then a few years ago, Jess reached out to me on Facebook, and I was like, "Fuck, I know Jess Derenforth."
Yeah,
That means a lot, man. And like, again, just the beauty of England, and then like, here's a funny one that was in recent years. Like the rad guys, the dudes in the movie, you know, especially Bill Allen. He's not a fucking rider, but you know that I love that movie. It's so bad, it's great, and I put it on somewhat often. But anyways, they do a Tuesday night in Huntington Beach. They call it HB Tuesday nights, or whatever, and it's Martin Abreu, Eddie Fiola, and all.
yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and it's fucking cool. They're there tooting their own fucking horns. But at the same time, it's pretty fucking cool. They all still love BMX. They love to get their pats on their back and shit. And like, I'm one of the few that like to go to that. Like, you would never find the old S&M guys going to that. And I was with McKinney one time when he went fucking off on Martin Aparejo, and I was like, God damn, dude, that was 20 years ago. This fucking dude rode rollerblades, man. Fuck him, Treanor. Fuck him, Treanor. Dude, he wouldn't let us ride Irwindale Skate Park. You remember that? Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck that dude. And I'm like, McKinney, man, 20 fucking years ago. I don't care about fruit boots either.
That's how you hold a grudge, man.
Oh, dude, and like right in Martin's face at Nora Cup. And like, I just was presenting at Nora Cup, and I came off stage, and Sean did that. And then like 2 minutes later, I get a photo with Martin, Crew Jones, and Shit Luck Leland. And I was like, it's only BMX you could do that. Fuck that dude. He wouldn't let us ride the skate park. And I'm like, I don't remember that, but okay.
No way.
McKinney's things would always be like, they don't even fucking ride. They don't even ride for 20 fucking years. Fuck these guys. Oh man.
I never met that guy. It sounded like he'd be interesting to meet, actually. Is he still about, yeah? Still?
Yeah, he calls me periodically. He lives in Hawaii, he still parties and stuff, but he's a beautiful human being. He's kind of in where I was in the mindset 24 years ago. He's just kind of over it, and he thinks he lived most of what he wanted to do. So he's happy. I talked to him. He's doing what he feels like doing. I think he's one of the most important people to BMX history. From flatland riding to the monster tire, pre-monster tire, to the revenge parts, to all the years at S&M, he was phenomenal. It was just the booze got a little too insane for him, and eventually Chris, couldn't deal with it anymore.
Yeah. Oh, no way, man.
Yeah. But that dude. So yeah, back to the England stuff though. That's kind of where some of that even was starting, was getting to know Jess and Craig, because that was before Backyard Jam.
Yeah. Is Craig on the ramp in one of them videos? That's him, yeah? I watched it and I was like, is that Craig? He was on a bully, maybe.
Yep. Or maybe a GT. I think he rode a bully and a GT.
He's on the deck of one of the first Feel My Leg Muscles, is it? Or 44 something, whatever the first one is.
Yeah, it's called the 8 Tramps. And
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, him and Jess used to ride there a lot. And I don't know how that came about, but me and Pova started riding there all the time. And so then when Alex was over, Leach, we would go there with him. And then it kind of became my home, because I was just there every fucking day. And then eventually that got torn down. Craig went back to England. Jess got really heavy into rollerblading, because that's where he learned to rollerblade, was at those ramps. And then those ramps went away, and I was on S&M because it's in one of the S&M videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it the other day, and I thought no, it can't be him. It's the wrong timeline. But yeah, maybe yeah. If you say it is, it must be. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think Craig, as far as I know, is the first person to actually do stuff on pegs on a lip.
Like peg stalls?
Yeah.
He might be. I think Steve Swope invented peg grinds.
Maybe grinds, but Craig in 1986, this is documented. He's doing peg stalls.
I think I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Craig did a lot, man, and he was pretty humble back then.
Yeah. He was quite like yourself. He's not really an extroverted person. He's like quite sort of in the background, But yeah, he invented a ton of shit, like stuff that you wouldn't even know about.
I think it was because of him how I learned nose picks on ramps, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nose picks and toothpicks and ice picks. That was all where we were just starting to do all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man, amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to cover anything else? Like, I'm good to. We've been going for 2 hours 45.
What fucking human being is going to listen to this?
No, don't worry about that, man. This is a good one.
I'm
amazing.
I'm good. I'll look at the questions real quick and maybe touch base on it. I'm sorry if this went all over the place,
mate. This is amazing. Like, I'm really pleased you've done it. Like, this is the heaviest one I've done. I think. Like, that's a real life story.
I am a fat fuck, so
thanks for doing it, man. Much appreciated.
Where was your thing? Sorry.
No worries.
I think we nailed everything.
Yeah, we pretty much covered everything that I asked you about and a bit extra. So.
Well, thank you, England. I appreciate everything I ever fucking got from that crazy country. And, and again, going back to Battle of Hastings a couple months back, my journey with the business side of all this stuff, it's just kind of crazy that I've had such a connection with England,
Yeah. You've constantly come back to England.
Yeah.
Must be something there, mate.
I love it, man. I think fucking London and Hastings is awesome. Like, shit, I'd live there before I live in fucking Kentucky. You never know where I end up next, man.
Well, it'd be good if you ended up here, mate. All right. Well. Yeah, but that's cool then. Like, if you wanna leave it there, seriously, like, thanks for that. Like, that was fucking great, man. Inspiring story. And I'm fucking glad you're sober and fucking out the other end. It's good to see, man.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Amazing.
Ultimately, dude, I just needed to grow up. This is the first time I've ever really put it all out there. And like I said, there'll be some guys that are going to hear if they were to listen to it and find ways to insult it or make it about themselves. This has nothing to do with anybody. This is my story. I'm telling it how I lived it. If it inspires anybody, cool. If not, fuck you.
It is as simple as that, man. But that was fucking inspiring to hear, I thought, anyway. So
yeah, I'm honored, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I fucking appreciate just still knowing some of the same people for 30 fucking years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, man, it's fucking awesome. Have you got like your old stickers and stuff? Or?
Yeah, I have your art, so I gotta.
But have you got the stickers? Like,
I have one set on a frame. I'll end here. So the funny thing about the frame that I have, a menstrual frame was in a box sitting next to my desk at Hoffman Bikes years ago, and I didn't know what the fuck it was. And so one day I finally opened it, and I think it was Jeremy Infleece said, "Hey, dude, that says your name on it." And so I opened it, and it's a fucking menstrual cycle. And I went, "Who the fuck put this here?" And like, it has a Bike Factory Hawaii sticker on it, and it didn't have any other stickers. So I was like, man, must Big Island give this to me? Where the fuck did this come from? And on the box it said Dwayne, Bike Factory Dwayne, who used to run Bike Factory in Hawaii. So I reached out to him. I was still doing sales in BMX, and I pretended I was doing a sales call or whatever, and I was like, dude, did you send me a fucking menstrual cycle? Where the fuck? And he's like, yeah, man, I knew you didn't have one. I wanted you to
amazing.
Have it. And then he's like, but it's a loaner. I just want you to. And I was like, that's cool. No worries. A couple of years ago, he hit me up asking for the serial number on it. And because those frames, there was one time I saw one on Facebook. Someone tagged me, and the guy was selling it for $3,000.
Wow.
And I chimed in on it, and I said, hey, dude, I'm alive. That's all I said. And the dude had no idea. Most people don't know anything about me as a rider, and they just like that frame for the name. And I am one of those obscure riders, so I get that most people don't even know. They just associate it as S&M Menstrual Cycle.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine. I don't fucking care. My ego's not that fragile. So yeah, I had that. And then when I was doing the Colony distro for a couple of years, he made me a one-off of a modern version off of one of the Colony frames I was riding. So it's got the modern spec of a Gutler frame I was riding, really good spec. And then it's just modernized, and it's got an integrated headset and a head tube in it and stuff. And then did you ever see the Colony one?
Yeah, I saw a picture of it, yeah.
It's got your drawing of my head.
I remember. Because that was out of a bunch. The same artwork that they ended up being a T-shirt, right?
Yeah. Did you know people have tattoos of that?
Of which one? Of the head?
Face?
Okay.
And a couple others. There's like 10 people with the menstrual cycle tattoos.
That face was I think the guy was in a wheelchair, maybe.
Yeah. You mocked it off the shitty one that Paul Green made, but you made it better, and then you made one where I'm like supposed to be old in a wheelchair.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And like we talked about it, and I was like, that's fucking funny. And then I think Chris made a shirt of that. I don't know, because he made that superhero one.
Chris made the superhero one, yeah,
which was phenomenal.
Any others?
I don't think I've ever seen that in person, but I know that shirt sold.
Okay, that's cool. I saw it in Custom Riders over here. That's the first time I saw it. I was like, whoa, I did this artwork.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was about. Yeah,
I didn't. Me either.
I bet that's rare. Yeah, and all that stuff's super rare. Like the frame, the forks, it's all rare shit. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't remember even how many were made, but yeah, all that being said, the Colony one was made, which he just did it as a really nice gesture for how well it worked out with Colony, and he didn't even name it, and I was like, we'll call it the Menopause.
I remember the name, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, so there you go.
All right, man.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Nice one, Keith. Hey, man. Thanks very much, yeah?
Hey.
I'll let you know when it comes out. It should be like probably only about 2 weeks, and this will be out.
Okay, cool.
I'll hit you up with some photos as well.
Yeah, and if you need to, remind me, and I'll compile some shit to send over, or whatever.
All right, man. All right, amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Keith. Thanks for listening. We've got a Patreon page, so if you could show us any support, we'd be most grateful. The link's below. A lot of work goes into these shows, so anything you could do would be much appreciated. Thank you.